South Carolina Department of Corrections is hiring statewide with huge pay raises. Correctional officers can now make $50,000 plus in their first year. Officers must be at least 18 years of age. Visit joinscdc.com to apply. WISTV First Alert Traffic on 107.5 The Game.
Still working that earlier accident, Crystal Springs Drive near Edmond Highway. Could see some rain coming in a little bit later this morning, and then chances for that off and on, increasing chances then later this afternoon and this evening. A high of 83. Some early storms tomorrow. 86 will be our high, and then 91 with a few clouds on Saturday. But right now, 72 at 107.5 The Game.
What you're talking about. Sponsored by Love Chevrolet. 107.5 The Game.
Welcome back into the early game on 107.5 The Game. Tyler Head in for Bill Gunter this morning. Believe we finally got the live stream up and rolling. So if you're tuning in, welcome. Bill usually does that, so it takes a few minutes for us to get it rolling when I'm in here filling in for him. But
that's the one thing he can do right.
One thing he can do right, yes. One of the few things, right? Yeah, we got the live stream rolling, so we should be good on that. Preston, a good week for South Carolina, to say the least. Obviously, in camp starting tomorrow, get the commitment from Dylan Stewart a little bit earlier on in the week. And, South Carolina's done a very good job of recruiting the DMV area here in the past couple of years. And it's become very much a hotbed for the Gamecocks when we pull out guys like Nick Harbor, Umia Zulu, now Dylan Stewart. You feel like that's a pretty good thing for South Carolina. Are you a follower of Message Board Geniuses on Twitter?
Only when it pops up, through my algorithm magic, it'll pop up sometimes. So I can't say that I'm a follower.
Well, you're familiar with what it is, though, right?
Yes.
Screen grabs of different forums and websites across the college football landscape with some pretty outlandish things. We estimated a loyal Gamecock fan ended up with these. We made it. Spurs forums, and this person said, I scheduled a DoorDash delivery for Wednesday morning at 10 a.m. via Krispy Kreme Donuts for, I'm guessing this is the address, to Maryland's football facility for each of these two gentlemen. And he has attached a picture of Jayshon Barham, the linebacker from a couple years ago that kind of duped South Carolina with a fake commitment, and then Mike Loxley, the head coach of the Maryland football team. And, with a big thank you, the note says, thank you for aggravating our head football coach, Shane Beamer. Nothing has paid off better than seeing this little punk you two thought you were playing on him. This little punk you thought you were playing on him 2 years ago. Hopefully this sweet taste of these miniature pearls of exquisite quality will help you overcome the taste of getting your butt stomped continuously in the backyard. Signed, Gamecock Nation.
That takes a lot of effort.
It does.
That took a lot of effort. The steps that you have to go through to actually get that done. You have to look up the Maryland football address. You have to go to DoorDash, put your card in, send them, then post them to Message Board Genius, post their pictures up there. It's college football, so it's all fair.
Yeah, that wasn't one of those things like a random rash decision. Like there's plenty of time to rethink it several times. Mm-hmm.
That Mike Loxley is going to know anything about this.
Well, first of all, if that facility is anything like this radio facility, as the promo states, they won't even get those donuts.
It's not going to make it far
Yeah.
past the
Somebody's
door.
gonna be like, "Oh, donuts, cool. I'll get them. I'll take them." So some.
Sorry.
It's not really a South Carolina.
Sorry about that.
If you had something that was more specific to the state, maybe that would have
Yeah, if
a
you
little
would have
bit of
said
a
maybe
different
something.
impact.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Correct. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Man, so we don't know who to point to and say, hey, prove to me you placed that DoorDash order.
To quote the great Jimbo Fisher, is this sliced bread?
Maybe. Box of donuts? I don't know.
Sliced bread. Yeah, I guess if that's what you were wanting, if you were going for, you made Message Boards Genius. You made the early game. I guess you made it.
That's a big time. That's big time. You make the early game.
Shout out to you, whoever you
Shout
are.
out to you if you're listening out there. You don't even have to reveal yourself.
Random user of the Big Spur message boards.
Mm-hmm.
But man, it's just,
That,
really
yeah,
does.
and I think that's the sort of concept of Message Boards Genius. And this is a perfect amount of, it's petty, but it's not nasty.
right.
You know, it's not. It's just right on the line of this is fun things.
You're not vandalizing a coach's house. You're not
Right.
sending death threats to his family or anything like that. Like, this is an acceptable level of pettiness.
It's perfect amount of pettiness. Everybody's safe. It's all in fun. I imagine if it ever did make it to Mike Locksley, he'd probably be like, all right,
That's funny. And I got donuts, so I'm not going to complain.
Yeah. So
Or maybe they just leave the empty box on his desk when they're all done with
yeah,
it.
these are from.
Yeah, I was gonna say, actually, what he needs to do is give the donut, take the note off, give the donuts to somebody, and look like the hero. Like, hey, I was thinking of you today. I'm gonna, brought you some donuts. So, yep. Yeah. See. Mm-hmm.
Right now, believe it or not. We'll talk about that coming up next. It is the early game on 107.5 The Game.
How would you like season tickets to all Gamecocks football games, baseball games, men's and women's basketball games? Well, now you can. It's the ultimate Gamecock season ticket giveaway, sponsored by the Men's Clinic of South Carolina. Not feeling like yourself? Call the Men's Clinic at 803-875-MENS. You can win tickets to every football game at Williams-Brice.
South Carolina punctuates a massive upset.
Every Gamecock baseball game at Founders Park.
The Gamecocks strike first, a 2-run shot from Ethan Petrie.
Every men's and women's hoops games at the CLA.
One undefeated team left in the nation. It's the South Carolina Gamecocks.
Just go to 1075thegame.com and register to win the ultimate season ticket giveaway. Sponsored by the Men's Clinic of South Carolina from your home of the Gamecocks. 1075 The Game.
Sponsored by Express Employment Professionals.
Looking for your next job? Express can help. Express Employment Professionals has put more than 10 million people to work in the last 40 years in all types of industries with competitive pay and no fee to help you find a job. What are you waiting for? Visit expresspros.com today.
Sponsored by AutoZone. Get in the zone. Starting stronger starts at AutoZone, where they've got battery solutions in the form of free battery testing, free battery charging, and replacement batteries that fit your needs. That's what makes them America's #1 battery destination. Get in the zone. AutoZone.
No one likes to talk about the injuries, pain, disability, and lost loved ones that result from terrible car and tractor-trailer accidents. I'm Jason Reynolds. At the Samuels Reynolds Law Firm, we're honored to be the lawyers our clients rely on during their toughest moments.
And I'm Stephen Samuels. When a work injury disrupts your life, I work hard to get you the medical treatment and workers' compensation you depend on.
Samuels Reynolds. True injuries, true lawyers. 803-779-4000.
Be sure to catch the 2023 Gamecock Central preseason kickoff party Saturday, August 19th at Steel Hands Brewing. Part pep rally, part concert, and all party. We'll have food, drinks, music from Patrick Davis and his Midnight Choir, and everything Gamecock football in between. This party is free to attend, but a limited number of VIP tickets still remain. Go to steelhandsbrewing.com, click on the events tab, and scroll down to buy your tickets. Those will get you in early and with a number of perks. Benefiting the Beamer Family Foundation, we'll see you out there Saturday, August 19th at Steel Hands Brewing.
Managing your online presence takes time, effort, and expertise. It can overwhelm even the savviest business owner. So, meet Cumulus Boost. We're experts at boosting the online presence for businesses of every type. We make sure potential customers can easily find you and really like what they find. Your website, online listings, consumer reviews, and more. Cumulus Boost, online at cumulusboost.com. CUMULUS boost.com.
Prescriptions require an online consultation with a healthcare provider who will determine if appropriate. Restrictions apply. See website for details and important safety information. Subscription required. Price varies based on product and subscription plan.
Hey guys, did you know there's a generic form of Viagra that works just the same, but is 95% cheaper? And you can get it online? Just go to 4hims.com/radio. Through Hims, you'll get a free medical consultation, discreet shipping if prescribed, a 100% online process, and trusted generic alternatives to the name brands at up to 95% off. That's right. Get generic for Viagra, the same active ingredient as brand name Viagra, but for 95% less. It's the same medication, still prescribed by a licensed medical provider, but with zero copay, no expensive appointments, and no awkward face-to-face conversations. To start your free online visit, you need to go to this exclusive address, 4hims.com/radio.
That's 4hims.com.
Okay, that worked. Okay, so they were asking on the air, when you're talking about, and I see DC responded with mustard-based barbecue. What would be a local fare that would be good to take to somebody if you're going to kind of show them, get their attention and say, we're all this. What from our area would be a good food? Definitely mustard-based barbecue. Would you take any kind of grits? Would you take pecans or pecans? So we'd love to get you guys' feedback on here. We can talk about it on the air, and we'll try to be organized and have the live stream up and rolling a little bit sooner in the mornings. Without Bill here, it takes a minute because that's usually the one thing he does in the morning. So we'll kind of get it readjusted to using that. Frogmore stew, interesting. I would have to look up the ingredients. Is frog involved in that? I'm kidding. I'm assuming that's more like a boil. All right, let me make this.
Sponsored by the South Carolina Department of Corrections.
South Carolina Department of Corrections is hiring statewide with huge pay raises. Correctional officers can now make $50,000 plus in their first year. Officers must be at least 18 years of age. Visit joinscdc.com to apply.
WIS-TV First Alert Traffic on 107.5 The Game.
Crystal, she says, Crystal Springs Drive near Edmond Highway. We have a report of an accident there. A disabled vehicle may have a little impact on traffic flow. I-77 northbound there at exit 24. Rain going to be coming in this morning and then off and on this afternoon. Looking for a high today of 83, 86 with some early storms tomorrow by Saturday. Rain should be cleared out and just have some cloudy skies. 91 for the high. 73 right now. 107.5 The Game.
Broadcasting live from the Herndon Chevrolet Studios. This is 107.5 The Game.
Discover Herndon Certified. Herndon Chevrolet's premier used car warranty. Shop with complete confidence knowing Herndon Chevrolet has got you covered.
Stop by or shop online today and see why Herndon Chevrolet makes you smile. The Early Game
with Bill Gunter, Preston Thorne, and Shen Jensen.
on your home of the Gamecocks. 107.5 The Game.
Thought it might help the Angels if you pitched on 3 days rest. Here's Albies with a fly ball to left center field. Struck pretty well. Jordan Adams is back to the warning track. Makes the catch. Bumps into the wall. And there's a good start for Jordan Adams to his major league career.
Yeah, that baseball had some pretty good carry to it. He's an excellent outfielder. We saw a lot in spring training. He's been excellent in Salt Lake City. You know that baseball will carry there. Be able to track that down. Good angle going back towards the wall. Knows exactly where that warning track is and where the wall is going to be at. Never took his eye off the baseball. No, there's going to be some contact with that padding on the wall. Nice play by Jordan Adams.
Angels broadcast team on Valley Sports yesterday with the call as new call up for the Angels. Jordan Adams makes a catch on Ozzie Albies deep fly ball yesterday in the Braves game against the Angels. And again, that was Jordan Adams' major league debut. And Preston, you know a little something about this kid.
Yeah, man, I'm very super proud of this young man. For those who are not familiar, Jordan Adams was at Blythewood High School. When I was there, he played quarterback. When I was there, he played wide receiver. When I was there, he would have been our best basketball player, but obviously he was busy playing baseball. Jordan Adams is the best athlete I've ever seen with my own two eyes.
You just showed me a video of him dunking, and that wasn't even the sport that he played.
Yeah, he didn't even play basketball. But Jordan also has some other connections. He's the son of Deke Adams, who was the former defensive line coach here at the University of South Carolina. Deke is currently at Arkansas, I believe. So he's the defensive line coach. So Deke has had a long run. Jordan, unfortunately, when Steve Spurrier decided to hang it up,
right,
that means that the Adams family had to move away from South Carolina. And so it's really weird because we were watching the coaching change and who was going to get hired from. Everybody else was worried about who's Muschamp going to have. And we were just like, just please keep Deke.
Just please retain him. Please retain him.
We're like, just please keep him around so we can keep Jordan at school.
Is there an aunt or an uncle he can stay with here to finish things out?
And they had really considered it, man. But Jordan is and this is how timelines are so strange.
Right.
The last high school game that I coached, the quarterbacks in that game were Jordan Adams and DeCarrion Joyner.
Really?
Oh my gosh.
Wow.
No kidding.
It's like quantum physics or something. How does this work? Yeah.
That's crazy.
Wow. And honestly, it was one of the greatest high school matchups of athletes I've ever seen. And it was just those two going back and forth. Playing quarterback. It was amazing. But yeah, congratulations to Jordan. You've done a tremendous job. We're super proud of you. You got called up. And hopefully he'll be playing at the bigs right next to Shohei and Trout.
I'm telling you, that's quite a team to be on.
Nice spot to be in, man. So really happy for him. Really, really proud of him.
It's very, very cool. And again, Jordan Adams making his debut yesterday for the Angels. The Braves did end up picking up that victory over them, but excited to see what's next for Jordan Adams. Hour 2 coming up next for the early game on 107.5 The Game.
WNKT FM, Eastover, Columbia.
What's up, y'all? This Gamecocks wide receiver Juice Wells. You're listening to 107.5 The Game, the home of the Gamecocks.
A Cumulus media station.
At the Samuels Reynolds Law Firm, we know how serious injuries change people's lives. I'm Jason Reynolds. When you're involved in a major car or truck accident, my team is on your side. You don't have to be alone. Let's do this together.
And I'm Steven Samuels. When you're hurt at work, my team is with you from start to finish. We're people with a passion for helping injured workers. Bring your case to us and stop the worry. We've got this.
Samuels Reynolds. True injuries, true lawyers. 803-779-4000.
We get it. Your search for a new career seems never ending until now. Here's your chance to join the Cumulus Media digital sales team and put that search to an end. You'll be able to showcase your growth with a position where the harder and smarter you work, the more you'll earn. Cumulus Media Columbia is looking for motivated, energetic, and tech-savvy individuals who are looking for an exciting opportunity. Whether you are new to sales or an experienced rep thinking about the future, go to this station's website and click on Cumulus Careers to apply. Cumulus Media Columbia. Boost your career today.
My friend and I are taking a trip to Mexico this year, but neither of us speak Spanish. So we downloaded Babbel and started learning Spanish fast.
Want to start getting conversational in another language in as little as 3 weeks? Babbel's quick 10-minute lessons were designed by language experts to be the most efficient and effective way to learn a new language.
¿Cómo te llamas?
¿Cómo te llamas?
Babbel, language for life. celebrating 10 million subscriptions sold. Now try Babbel for free at Babbel.com. That's BABBEL.com.
Finding great candidates to hire can be like, well, trying to find a needle in a haystack, but not with ZipRecruiter. Its powerful technology actively finds and invites qualified candidates to apply to your job. So while other companies might deliver a lot of hay, ZipRecruiter finds you the needle in the haystack.
See why 4 out of 5 employers who post a job on ZipRecruiter get a quality candidate within the first day. Try ZipRecruiter for free at ZipRecruiter.com/free. That's ZipRecruiter.com/free.
Prescriptions require an online consultation with a healthcare provider who will determine if appropriate. Restrictions apply. See website for details and important safety information. Subscription required. Price varies based on product and subscription plan.
Hey guys, did you know there's a generic form of Viagra that works just the same, but is 95% cheaper? And you can get it online? Just go to 4hims.com/joy. Through Hims, you'll get a free medical consultation, discreet shipping if prescribed, a 100% online process, and trusted generic alternatives to the name brands at up to 95% off. That's right. Get generic for Viagra, the same active ingredient as brand name Viagra, but for 95% less. It's the same medication, still prescribed by a licensed medical provider, but with zero copay, no expensive appointments, and no awkward face-to-face conversations. To start your free online visit, you need to go to this exclusive address, 4hims.com/joy. That's 4hims.com/joy for your free online visit. FORHIMS.com/JOY.
It's the Love Chevrolet countdown to Gamecock football.
30 days till kickoff.
No games, no add-ons, no surprises. No wonder so many people buy with confidence at Love Chevy, home of the $1,000 low price guarantee.
I-26 at Harbison and at lovechevy.com.
Find new roads. What you're talking about
On 107.5 The Game.
Sponsored by Love Chevrolet. No hassles, no all-day runarounds, no ridiculous add-on stickers. At Love Chevy, buying a car is fun. South Carolina's #1 volume Chevy dealer. I-26 at Harbison and at lovechevy.com. Find new roads. The early game
with Bill Gunter.
South Carolina receiver Juice Wells and his dog Sosa have signed an NIL deal with the Farmer's Dog. It's a brand of, I don't have a
highfalutin dog food.
Dog Sosa needs to go on a diet.
He's not.
Have you seen this dog?
Former Gamecock Preston Thorne.
So in that commercial, I don't think Sosa really enjoyed that commercial much because he has to run up a hill, and I don't know if he was very happy about running up that hill. The dog food must be tremendous.
And Jen Jensen.
He ran up the hill because there was a cupcake at the top of the hill. That's what it was.
Shout out to Sosa.
On your home of the Gamecocks.
The theme of this show. I don't know. I don't know what happened.
107.5 The Game.
Iowa State quarterback Hunter Dekkers has been accused of betting on events involving the Cyclones, including a 2021 football game that he did not play in. Dekkers allegedly placed 366 bets totaling nearly $2,800 on DraftKings while under the legal betting age of 21, is also accused of tampering with the investigation. His attorney says the quarterback will plead not guilty. Dekkers started all 12 games last season and was the projected starter entering camp, but he plans to step away from the football team.
Welcome back into the early game on 107.5 Game. Tyler Head in for Bill Gunter this morning alongside Preston Thorne. Jen Jensen on the other side of the glass. That was the voice of Kevin Nagandi on SportsCenter last night, breaking the news or detailing the news of the latest on the gambling saga that is unfortunately kind of sweeping college sports this year, it seems like. Now, go back a couple of months ago, and there were initial reports of a good handful of athletes between the University of Iowa and Iowa State that were in trouble for gambling. We did not know the names of these athletes. We didn't know the specifics of what exactly they did. We finally learned some of this yesterday, and there's a list of 7 guys here, but headlined by Hunter Dekkers, who, again, as Kevin Nagandi mentioned, was the starting quarterback for Iowa State in all 12 games last year. He's placed 366 bets over the past couple of years, totaling right at $2,800, 26 of them on Iowa State events. And here's the real problem. He was under 21 when these things happened, used his parents' names on the gambling account, and they knew about it and helped him cover it up. This guy's in a lot of trouble.
So many places to go from. Let's start with the parents.
Sure.
What are you doing? What are you doing? All right. Now, I read the story, and sometimes and I know it's not advised, but I go through and I read the comments because I like to see all these different perspectives on this story. So somebody in the comments said, well, what's wrong with people sharing accounts? You probably share a Netflix account with your parents or something like that. So it's like,
it's a little different.
This is different, obviously. And then as the parent, you know and understand that the child is participating in prohibited activities.
Yes.
I stopped short of saying illegal.
Sure.
Because it's getting grayer as far as how's that working out. But prohibited for him specifically, you know that, he knows that. What are you doing trying to cover it up? So that was, to me, again, the most shocking part of the story, because you don't expect I give young people the privilege of being stupid.
Yeah.
I've worked around young people for a long time. They make bad decisions all the time.
Sure.
You're not supposed to make that same bad decision as the adult in this situation.
Right.
The parent even more so.
And they're in trouble with this too, because they did help him cover this up, and he's potentially being charged with tampering with records, because again, he's falsifying who he is on these gambling sites. And I can't remember if he was on DraftKings or what specific one, FanDuel, or which one he would use specifically. But again, he's just on a list of players that are involved in these kind of things. But he's obviously the headliner there, and I give credit to his attorney, because they drafted this long response to all this. And I'm not going to read the entire thing, but the end of it is a little bit humorous, because, and this is talking about Hunter Dekkers, again, the Iowa State quarterback, so he can focus on his studies and on the defense of this criminal charge. Hunter has informed the university and the coaching staff that he cannot participate in fall football camp.
What a hero. I mean, what a selfless guy.
This to me reminds me of, like, okay, the girl's about to break up with you, so you just go ahead and do it first, and then you can say that you were the first one that did it, right?
Of course. You can't fire me if I quit.
Exactly. Like, well, I just don't think it's working out. Well, like, no, bud, you weren't going to get to play anyway.
As in true lawyer speak, he said, this charge attempts to criminalize a daily fact of American life. Millions of people share online accounts of all kinds every day. The prosecution infers with and politicizes this, that the business of Ohio State and the NCAA. So that's what you hired the lawyers for.
Again, there's a difference between Netflix and DraftKings, though.
Yes.
Yeah,
a little bit.
There's obviously
and he's underage.
Yes.
I mean, that's
the crux of the matter here. He also bet on Iowa State events, including a game that he did not play in, but he was a member of the roster for.
Yeah, if we play in 3 strikes, he's out, right?
Yeah.
You can't bet on your team. You can't bet. 1.
Yeah.
Furthermore than that, you can't bet on your team. 3, if we're just going there, he's underage and he's not supposed to be participating. And
well, everybody else is doing it.
Yeah, that's not how that works. And what I'm interested in is you have heard the saying, like, there's never just one fly in your house.
Sure.
You know what I'm saying? So if you see one fly in your house, that means there's probably 10 somewhere around. And I wonder if this is the beginning of what's going to start to see. Is this a pattern of behavior for athletes this age, or what's happening? And because the betting behavior is so curious to me. I mean, they're basically micro bets, $7 the average. I just ran the math on my calculator. Average of $7.6 per bet.
Yeah.
Which is like,
all
yeah,
right.
This isn't high stakes by any means.
Yeah, what are we doing?
If you're going to run those numbers, do this one for me, because again, this is a list of
got my calculator ready
of 7 athletes' names that we learned yesterday, that between Iowa and Iowa State, that placed varying amounts of bets. One of the people included was Paniro Johnson, which is a wrestler for Iowa State. I believe he was a Big 12 champion at wrestling. Placed 1,283 bets.
Oh, okay, all right.
For a total of $45,640. This is the
number of bets again.
1,283. This is the highest monetary total out of everybody on this list, and I believe the second highest in total bets.
All right, so he's up in the 35-ish range of bets. So he's betting a little bit more, but it's still. And this is where, I think this is a concept that breaks down in generations. because the DraftKings things, betting has been around forever, but this new iteration of being able to have constant access to your phone and being able to just place bets,
right?
And it's not actually money. I'm not saying that there was a charm to having to go actually take money to a bookie or, maybe have to meet behind the CVS and 5 Points or whatever the case is, but just the immediate access to just be able to hit a button and place a bet. I wonder how that affects behavior.
There's a feeling of anonymity when it comes to your phone, and whether that be, being online under a account that's not your name or something like that. And especially when you're talking about betting, well, yes, your name is tied into that account. It's like, nobody's watching me do this. Nobody's paying attention. Like, I can understand how these guys might think, well, nobody's going to be looking for my name. That's not going to set off any red flags or anything like that. But again, this Iowa State gambling board, very thorough in their investigations.
They were on it, and we've been hearing this for a while.
I'm sure there will be more names that come out, but it's just kind of like, what are you doing?
Yeah, and again, it also leads to the idea, and I don't personally gamble, but it's not for moral reasons.
Sure.
I just don't like losing money.
Right.
I like having. I don't find it entertaining to lose money. That's just me.
No, you work hard to get it. You don't want to just flush it.
Yeah, that's not me. But some people, and again, if that's what it's cool.
Right. The most amount of gambling I've ever done is I did the daily fantasy on DraftKings during like COVID, and it was like the 50 cent, like you get to choose a lineup type of thing. I never won anything, and I've never touched it since.
Yeah, but see, that's where people always talk about the idea of gambling having an addictive quality, or at least an idea where, because this amount of bets, 1,200 bets, that means
you're doing a lot.
You're just hitting the button. You're not. You're just betting on things just because it's there, and then the money is not even real because it's digital. You don't see it.
Sure.
It's a really interesting, and this is the business, and this is where sports is going to have to figure this out, because we're very much in bed with all of these betting sites. So how does this work?
And this isn't to put a blame on the betting sites themselves, but a lot of them's like DraftKings, FanDuel will do it. Hey, sign up. You're going to get $200 in free bets. That is very inviting for people this age. Be like, $200 in bets, man. Let me just throw a bunch out there and see what happens. And again, if a couple of those hit, then you're like, okay, maybe I'm good at this. And that just kind of rolls one thing into the other. And, you end up in a situation like this. And again, not placing a blame on the betting sites themselves, because you're still supposed to go through the proper legal way of doing it. If you were over a certain age, if it's not against the policy of the company that you work with or the, sport organization that you're a part of, then you are free reign to do this. These guys broke the rules by being underage for one, but also going against what team policies are as well.
Yeah, we're not even gotten to the point of the integrity of the game.
Yeah.
Because they say he's on a roster. When you're privy to information that's on a roster and you can place bets knowing
it's insider trading.
That's it. That's exactly. And there's rules against insider trading. I'm sorry, if you work on Wall Street, you can't do certain things.
Yep.
Certain times, certain jobs prohibit you from participating in behavior. Again, I was a teacher. So if I was a teacher, I can't go for a lunch break and have a beer and then come back and teach.
You probably might have or should have at times.
Yeah, I might have felt like it.
Afternoon.
Yeah, I might have wanted to. That's just not something I can do. There's other professions where that's part of the profession and you can do that, and that's part of the business culture.
Yep.
I can't be like, well, the accountants get to do it. Nah, that's just not, you just can't do it.
Yep.
And that, if you're a doctor and you're on call for 24 hours, guess what? There's certain things you just can't do. And speaking of meetings, these are the meetings that you have at the beginning of two-a-days.
I was going to ask if this is one of the conversations that gets had with you guys right
You bring the same person in, the compliance person or SLED. We used to have SLED come in. And they talk to you about illegal gambling. They talk to you about those things. And most of the times, as you're apt to do when you're 18 and 19, you're rolling your eyes. You're like, whatever. I don't care. But these are the conversations that they have to have every single year
now
to cover their tracks. But also, you got to hear them.
And you've admitted you've probably signed something, or just by showing up, you've admitted that, okay, I've been through this. I understand it. So you can't say, well, I didn't hear him say that. Yeah, that's your problem. You said you would.
How many of those guys actually read what that piece of paper said?
No, of course not.
Oh, I got to sign it. All right, whatever.
As you're firing up the app.
You're right,
firing up the DraftKings app.
So going back to your time playing, if you or your teammates wanted to place a bet, what would be the process? What would you have to go through to do that back then?
It's gonna involve a lot of shady characters.
Are you gonna have to drive up to Cherokee or something?
It's gonna be a lot of shady characters, parlay cards. It's gonna be a lot of moving pieces that you're gonna have to actually end up meeting somebody in a shady dark corner of a bar somewhere. I don't know, man. There's just a lot of things that would have to have that done. But explicitly, once I get to this point of I'm betting on my own team, you know that's not right.
Sure.
You understand this. You talk about knowing right from wrong. Anybody that's gambling on their team, that's not right.
Another player that was found to have been betting on games that he was involved in was Iowa kicker Aaron Blom, who bet on the under for the 2021 Iowa State game.
Yeah.
A game that he was a part of.
You can't bet. You've been watching practice all week. You know your team ain't scoring no points. You're like, man, our offense is terrible.
Well, for one,
hammer the under.
Iowa doesn't score a lot of points to begin with anyway, so that's usually a pretty safe bet most weeks, I feel like.
Yeah, you've been watching your team all week. You're like, man, Tyler hasn't completed a pass all week. Hey, under. I'm telling you. Yeah, you cannot do that, man. And unfortunately, in my opinion, they know it was illegal. They're gonna have to learn from the situation, and that you just can't have that in the game. They're gonna have to be punished to the full extent, and hopefully made an example of, and hopefully people will follow. But that's what it's gonna have to be.
Have you seen the video of Hunter Deckers that's been making its rounds on Twitter?
I think I just saw it.
You just saw it, where and I don't know who this young lady is that he's talking to, but it involves something with the bet, to which he's wearing an Iowa State t-shirt.
It could not be worse.
He says to her, "Do not post this because it's illegal."
It almost looks like it's fake. It looks like a parody.
I thought it was fake at first. I'm like, there's no way this is real.
Yeah, it's him in his face, and then they call him they're like HB.
And he even like points at the shirt, like, yeah, I'm a part of this.
Yeah, that's a rough one. Which again, I understand, because a lot of times that's just what you're wearing. You're wearing your team gear. I get it, but man, that's a bad look.
If you're gonna do something illegal, don't wear the name of your employer. I don't advocate doing anything illegal to begin with, but if you're going to do it, don't have the name of your employer, your team, whoever you're affiliated or associated with, where they could track you down a whole lot easier after the fact.
I'm going back to being a teacher again. It was not written, but it's an unwritten rule. Hey, if you're going out to have a few drinks, how about not wear your school shirt?
Sure.
It's just...
Yeah, well, there you
it's
go.
Just not what you
again.
want to do.
Well,
it's not, we don't need a policy for this, but it's like, that's probably not a great idea.
How many?
Well, just like you shouldn't wear your work shirt. I'm sorry, Tyler. I didn't mean to interrupt, but like,
no,
if I'm going to go and decide that I need to get hammered, I'm probably not going to wear a 107.5 The Game shirt.
Now everybody can point and they can say, "Oh yeah, that guy works for 107."
Sure,
that's fine, but just,
right. But you are a representation of who you work for, who you play for, whatever it may be. And when you are wearing that emblem,
it's
that
a
just
big. It's not even.
Point.
It's like it says.
It's the
Iowa
whole.
State.
It's the whole T-shirt. It's the whole shirt. It looks like he just came from a workout.
It does. It looks like a workout T-shirt, man. It's a bad look, not a good look. Hopefully they'll learn from the situation. Hopefully the players around them, if they were engaging in those activities, hopefully everybody's exiting now, stopping. But this is something that, like I said, there's never one fly in the house. So I would, everybody, if college coaches right now today, as they're reporting the camp, aren't making an extra emphasis on this,
without a doubt,
and you need to be making it very clear, that this is not going to be something that we can engage in.
We'll continue this conversation on the other side. You're listening to The Early Game. He's Preston Thorne. I'm Tyler Head. Jen Jensen on the other side of the glass on 107.5 The Game.
Friday, August 25th. Join 107.5 The Game for our football kickoff golf tournament. Our summer golf classic at Charwood Golf Club in West Columbia. 9:30 shotgun start. $100 a person, $400 for a team. Call Charwood at 803-755-2000. Lunch provided by Firehouse Subs. We'll be raffling off football tickets, Carowinds passes, and more. Our football kickoff tournament. The Summer Golf Classic. Friday, August 25th. From your home of the Gamecocks. 107.5 The Game.
This is John Marks with the CBS Sports Minute. All right, winners and losers, MLB trade deadline. How about a winner? The Texas Rangers. Here's who's in. Max Scherzer, Jordan Montgomery, Aroldis Chapman, Chris Stratton, Austin Hedges. The Rangers are in first place in the AL West, but needed to make these moves as the Astros are getting hot and just acquired Justin Verlander. It should be a fight to the finish in the state of Texas. I'm John Marks.
CBS Sports Radio. Ray Magliozzi here for eBay Motors. So you ordered a new air filter for your car. You try to install it, but it doesn't fit. So you take a little bit off the sides. What, still doesn't fit? Well, you could try to sit on it. Or get it right the first time with eBay Guaranteed Fit. When you see the check, you know that part's going to fit. Air filters, brakes, headlights, over 122 million parts. Get the right parts at the right prices. eBay Motors, let's ride. Eligible items only. Exclusions apply.
I'm Scott Trout, attorney and CEO of the domestic litigation firm Cordell & Cordell. We help men deal with the life changes triggered by divorce, such as child custody and property division, among many others. But life changes also occur after divorce. These changes can make parts of your existing court order irrelevant. If you feel a modification to your court orders might be necessary, talk to us at Cordell & Cordell. We're a partner men can count on.
Online at CordellCordell.com. 1201 Main Street, Suite 840, Columbia, South Carolina, 29201. Scott Trout, licensed in Missouri, Illinois, and Georgia only.
Paid for by Cordell & Cordell.
Sponsored by AutoZone. Get in the zone. Starting Stronger starts at AutoZone, where they've got battery solutions in the form of free battery testing, free battery charging, and replacement batteries that fit your needs. That's what makes them America's #1 battery destination. Get in the zone. AutoZone.
Every day, you breathe in thousands of tiny little germs, allergens, and viruses. Don't let these invisible invaders make breathing through your nose impossible. Flush them out with Navage. I'm Martin Hoke, and I invented Navage to make cleaning your nose easy. Navage uses powered suction to pull saline in one nostril, around the back of the nose, and out the other nostril, helping flush out everything that makes you miserable. Nearly 4 million people use Navage to breathe better, snore less, and feel healthier. People like Dan, a verified Navage user who writes, I've had trouble with my sinuses for decades. I always thought something like this was a gimmick, but one use and I'm hooked. I should have bought this a long time ago. The results are immediate and incredible. Unquote. If you suffer from sinus congestion, allergies, or snoring, then Navage is the safe, drug-free solution you've been looking for. Navage is at Walmart, Walgreens, CVS, Rite Aid, Target, and Navage.com. Navage, N-A-V-A-G-E, clean nose, healthy life.
Hi, my husband and I own a small business in Columbia, and we ended up needing some help with some tax problems that we had and needed to get resolved. We initially owed about $300,000, and John Ecton and his law firm ended up getting us an offer in compromise, which dramatically reduced the amount owed. I would personally recommend the Ecton law firm. They did an excellent job for us, and if this is a concern that you're facing, they're definitely the people you should call.
It's great to know we have changed people's lives for the better. Hi, this is local attorney John Ecton with the Ecton Law Firm. For over a decade, our office has been dedicated to helping hardworking individuals and businesses solve tax problems for good. So if you have years of unfiled tax returns or are facing IRS wage levies, bank levies, or tax liens, call our office today at 771-9800 or go to EctonLawFirm.com. That's ECTON lawfirm.com. Let's get your tax problem solved for good. Call today. You'll be glad you did.
Managing your online presence takes time, effort, and expertise. It can overwhelm even the savviest business owner. So, meet Cumulus Boost. We're experts at boosting the online presence for businesses of every type. We make sure potential customers can easily find you and really like what they find. Your website, online listings, consumer reviews, and more. Cumulus Boost. Online at cumulusboost.com. CUMULUS Boost.com.
Introducing Herndon Certified. Herndon Certified used vehicles are quality assured and come with our 60-day warranty, complete with nationwide coverage. Don't just buy a used car. Buy a Herndon Certified used car and drive with confidence, knowing Herndon's got you covered. Find your perfect pre-owned in-store or online at HerndonChevy.com.
Herndon Chevrolet, Herndon makes you wanna smile, smile.
It's time for kickoff, and the Believe podcast will get you ready for the new season.
How do you live through this as a Detroit sports fan?
Believe has podcasts covering all 32 professional teams and many of your favorite college teams, too.
You solidified your defense. You got better.
Sideline to sideline, end zone to end zone.
If you don't do those things, then you're not even trying your hardest to win at football, and I don't know what we're doing.
There was a lot of great players on those teams that I was fortunate to be part of.
Search BLEAV podcasts wherever you listen.
Sponsored by SC Johnson Raid.
This can't keep your loved ones protected from pests, but Raid can.
For 60 years, RAID scientists have worked to protect people around the world, including the ones you love most. RAID, protection for all.
107.5 The Game traffic, sponsored by the South Carolina Department of Corrections.
South Carolina Department of Corrections is hiring statewide with huge pay raises. Correctional officers can now make $50,000 plus in their first year. Officers must be at least 18 years of age. Visit joinscdc.com to apply.
WIS-TV First Alert Traffic on 107.5 The Game.
Hey everyone, thank you for listening along on this Thursday morning. It's time for a First Alert traffic update. It has been calm around the region, and what we've seen for the Midlands so far, no confirmed collisions, major problems, or backups in our heavily traveled roadways and interstates on our traffic maps so far. Of course, later into the morning, if something major occurs, we'll be sure to let you know. Thanks again for listening. Again, this has been a WIS First Alert traffic check. I'm meteorologist Tony Chivaroli. Make it a safe travel day.
And we actually do have one accident that just popped up, I-20 westbound at Broad River Road. That would be exit 65. As you mentioned, the forecast for today, not looking too bad. Some showers coming in later this morning, and then we'll have that off and on throughout the day. A high of 83. It's cloudy, 73. 107.5 The Game.
Broadcasting live from the Herndon Chevrolet Studios. This is 107.5 The Game.
A great selection of new Chevys is available now at Herndon Chevrolet. The lot is packed with inventory and more is on the way. So shop your hometown Chevy dealer today.
Stop by or shop online today and see why Herndon Chevrolet makes you smile.
The early game
With Bill Gunter, Preston Thorne, and Jen Jensen.
on your home of the Gamecocks.
107.5 The Game.
Welcome back into the early game on 107.5 The Game. Tyler Head in for Bill Gunter this morning. I want to quickly remind you about the Ultimate Gamecocks season ticket giveaway that's live right now on 1075thegame.com. Head to the website, click on the Ultimate Season Ticket image, and fill out the form for your chance to win the Ultimate Gamecock season ticket giveaway, which includes tickets to all home football games, all home men and women's basketball games, and all home baseball games. Winners will be announced August 25th at the 107.5 The Game football kickoff golf tournament. Continue on a conversation about gambling within college sports. And I'll ask you this, because you mentioned that, with camp starting tomorrow, that's one of the conversations you're going to be having with all these players is, hey, don't do this, using these guys as an example. What else can be done? Because obviously this is something that's becoming more and more of a problem in college sports that's not getting through to everyone.
Yeah, I mean, I think the Iowa State Gaming Commission is taking the lead in saying if something happens, first off, we're watching you.
Yeah.
That's one. Two, if we catch you, then you're going to be throwing away your opportunity to participate in amateur athletics. And I think that's fair. I think that's fair. And I think that's fair what the NFL is doing or other sports who are having these same issues. Because if this is going to be a thing, then we're going to actually absolutely need to punish it, or they're going to have to suffer the consequences of their actions.
Right.
Based on this, because we have to protect the integrity of the games. It hasn't made it that far yet.
Right.
But it's really, and I don't like making the slippery slope argument, but there's really only a next logical step before the kicker who's betting the under on Iowa misses a kick or whatever the case is. So that's not something that we can have, and you have to protect that at all costs.
Right. You said you had a question about this as well.
What my question is, and I guess this is where I'm thinking about generationally.
Yeah.
Because what I'm confused about, I'm 41 years old.
Mm-hmm.
I've had cell phones, social media, etc. for a lot of my life, the second half of my life, I guess.
Mm-hmm.
Whereas somebody in your generation or your age has had it for a longer part.
Yeah.
And these athletes that are participating now have had it their whole lives.
Yeah.
Do they not understand that somebody is watching everything that you do online? Does that not click? Or what is the situation on that? Because as I said, for my age, gambling was inherently something that was sort of underworld, kind of shady. If I'm going to participate in, it's not something that we're all just doing. There's this air around it.
Yeah.
And I wonder, did they not understand that?
I feel like there's almost a perception of so many people are doing these things. How are they going to single me out?
How are they not going to find
me out? And when you're these guys and using like your parents' name or something like that, well, that's not suspicious. But again, when the Iowa State Gambling Board starts looking into it, then it's like, there's a lot of players' parents that are suddenly placing these bets, all around the same time on the same events. What's going on here? Like, when they dig a little bit deeper, they're going to be able to figure it out. But that's a good point when you are, because college athletes are now, born in between 2005 and 2002, 2001, which is crazy to think about. But yeah, that's a generation that as they got into their teenage years, social media was already around, cell phones were already big. So yeah, they've kind of been ingrained with it. And I guess when you think that, there's tens of thousands of people doing the same thing, they're never going to find me out, like, you think you can get away with this kind of stuff.
Yeah, I'm really curious about that. And I need to ask some of the students I work with, just because I think it's inherently understood that they're watching.
Yeah.
I don't know. I mean, I hate to get all conspiracy theory tinfoil had Big Brother in here, but I mean, they're watching everything that you do. We know that. You know that your algorithm is completely designed for you. You understand that they're monitoring your activities. We get that.
Yeah.
So when I go to place a bet under a fake name that's not fake, it's actually my parents' name.
Yep.
It seems like that's not going to be a very smart idea.
And then we have the second layer of the problem, which is the parents that are aware that this was happening and just like, well, yeah, we were okay with it.
Yeah, you cannot be okay with that. And at this point, you can't take up for him if he's doing it. You can't be covering up for him. They're just gonna have to suffer those consequences and see where it goes for that. That's for that minimal amount of reward that you got from betting. That is a very big thing that you threw away, whether that was your scholarship or the opportunities to further your athletic career. That's going to be tough.
Well, and I'm looking at, I mentioned Paniro Johnson, the rest from Iowa State betting over $45,000. This basketball player from Iowa, Aaron Ulis, bet right under $35,000. We're talking about like years-long salaries for a lot of people that these guys are putting into these bets.
Yeah, and they're just on and on. So I want to know whether it's a cumulative or what is the break-even point on that? Did they actually get any money, or is it just, they won $35,000, but they also lost $35,000, so now they're at zero? I don't know, but I do know that's taking up a lot of your attention.
Right.
I mean, granted, there's not a lot to do in Iowa.
Correct. Which again, I don't. The Iowa State gaming board takes the lead on it. I wonder if other gaming boards are like, do we want to do this, or is this something we really want to look into, or maybe this is something we don't necessarily want to open up.
When you start looking into it, you're probably going to find something.
Yeah, I don't know if this is something that they want to find. So I imagine all across the country, a lot of college athletes are hearing the gambling discussion for the first, second, or 20th time that you've had it, because I can promise you compliance officers are having these conversations.
Well, at this point, you probably can't have that conversation enough because things are still happening.
Yeah, well, yeah, you always have to have it. And again, the access to it at any time, because the same thing, I can just hit a button to go to Twitter. I can just go to DraftKings. And the amount of bets seems to lead to, you're just doing this, or you're stuck in some kind of loop.
You're addicted.
You're addicted to just participating in the behavior of the winning of gambling. And that's DraftKings has a lot of money for a reason.
Yes,
just like Vegas.
I would say they didn't build that city out in the desert for nothing.
Right. So
they didn't build the city in the desert because everybody wins everything. House always wins.
We'll see how this goes. I'm curious.
And between this, what we had at Alabama with their baseball coach getting fired a couple of months ago because of his involvement with gambling, it's probably not the last gambling story we're going to be talking about in 2023.
No, it won't be.
It's just we're kind of getting to that tip of the iceberg of uncovering more somewhere down the line.
Yep.
So we'll see what happens there. Up next, we'll finally dive into some of this conference realignment talk as it continues to evolve and just turns into more and more of a mess. You're listening to The Early Game. Tyler Head, Preston Thorne, Jen Jensen on 107.5 The Game.
How would you like season tickets to all Gamecocks football games, baseball games, men's and women's basketball games?
Well, now you can.
It's the ultimate Gamecock season ticket giveaway.
Sponsored by the Men's Clinic of South Carolina.
Not feeling like yourself? Call the Men's Clinic at 803-875-MENS. You can win tickets to every USC football game at Williams-Brice.
South Carolina punctuates a massive upset.
Every Gamecock baseball game at Founders Park.
The Gamecocks strike first, a 2-run shot from Ethan Petrie.
Every men's and women's hoops games at the CLA.
One undefeated team left in the nation. It's the South Carolina Gamecocks.
Just go to 1075thegame.com and register to win.
The ultimate season ticket giveaway.
Sponsored by the Men's Clinic of South Carolina from your home of the Gamecocks. 1075 The Game.
Starting, it's time to contact Zerorez Carpet and Air Duct Cleaning. Right now, you can have Zerorez come out to your house and take advantage of a great deal going on. You can get 3 rooms cleaned for only $129 when you mention me, Bill Gunner, at 1075 The Game. Zerorez, using its patented electrolyzed ZR water technology that cleans and eliminates dirt without any chemical additives. This way, your carpets stay cleaner longer. Again, mention me, Bill Gunner, at 1075 The Game, and you'll get 3 rooms of carpet clean for only $129. You can schedule online as well, ZerorezColumbia.com. With the kids going back, now's the opportunity to get the house looking nice and clean. Contact Zerorez, 803-262-4020, or again, schedule online, ZerorezColumbia.com. Zerorez, spell it backwards or forwards. It's the right way to clean.
Trucks, we want trucks. New Silverados are on the ground now, and more are on the way to Herndon Chevrolet. We're taking up to $15,000 off to get you in your new truck. Stop by your hometown Chevy dealer and shop all your favorite models at prices you'll love. Find new roads at Herndon Chevrolet, or visit us online at HerndonChevy.com today.
Herndon Chevrolet, Herndon makes you wanna smile, smile.
Be sure to catch the 2023 Gamecock Central preseason kickoff party Saturday, August 19th at Steel Hands Brewing. Park pep rally, park concert, and all party. We'll have food, drinks, music from Patrick Davis and his Midnight Choir, and everything Gamecock football in between. This party is free to attend, but a limited number of VIP tickets still remain. Go to steelhandsbrewing.com, click on the events tab, and scroll down to buy your tickets. Those will get you in early and with a number of perks. Benefiting the Beamer Family Foundation, we'll see you out there Saturday, August 19th at Steel Hands Brewing.
The 2023 Gamecock football season is almost here, and there's no better place to be on a fall Saturday than at Williams-Brice Stadium. Secure your tickets today to catch a game. Visit thegamecockclub.com for more information on season tickets, single game tickets, and our mobile passes. Options start as low as a $20 monthly subscription. Visit gamecockclub.com to learn more. Whatever the game, whoever you're with, just catch a game.
O'Reilly. Increase your vehicle's performance and gas mileage with Lucas Fuel Treatment at O'Reilly Auto Parts. Simply add it to your tank at your next fill-up to eliminate carbon and varnish deposits. Right now, get 2 bottles of Lucas Fuel Treatment for $10. See store for details. Stop by your local O'Reilly Auto Parts store or shop online at O'ReillyAuto.com.
O'Reilly Auto Parts.
Prescriptions require an online consultation with a healthcare provider who will determine if appropriate. Restrictions apply. See website for details and important safety information. Subscription required. Price varies based on product and subscription plan.
Hey guys, did you know there's a generic form of Viagra that works just the same, but is 95% cheaper? Just go to 4hims.com/joy. Through Hims, you'll get a free medical consultation, discreet shipping if prescribed, and the process is 100% online. To start your free online visit, go to 4hims.com/joy. That's FORHIMS.com/JOY.
My friend and I are taking a trip to Mexico this year, but neither of us speak Spanish. So we downloaded Babbel and started learning Spanish fast.
Want to start getting conversational in another language in as little as 3 weeks? Babbel's quick 10-minute lessons were designed by language experts to be the most efficient and effective way to learn a new language.
¿Cómo te llamas?
¿Cómo te llamas?
¿De dónde eres?
¿De dónde eres?
Babbel's interactive lessons are created by real language teachers and voiced by real native speakers using a modern conversation-based method. So in no time, you can start speaking confidently about real-life topics in another language.
Nosotras vamos a México en 2 días y ahora hablamos español. Gracias, Babbel. Sí, muchas gracias.
Babbel, language for life. Celebrating 10 million subscriptions sold. Now try Babbel for free at Babbel.com. Just go to Babbel.com and start learning a new language today. That's Babbel.com. Babbel.com.
South Carolina Department of Corrections is hiring statewide with huge pay raises. Correctional officers can now make $50,000 plus in their first year. Officers must be at least 18 years of age. Visit joinscdc.com to apply.
WIS-TV First Alert Traffic on 107.5 The Game.
And still looking at traffic conditions out there, we have a report of an object on the roadway, Killian Road at Faro. So be careful there. One accident to let you know about, I-20 westbound at Broad River Road. That would be exit 65. Showers starting a little bit later this morning and then off and on throughout this afternoon and evening. 83 for the high, 86 tomorrow with some early storms. And by Saturday, partly cloudy. 91 will be our high, but it's overcast right now. And it's 73 at 107.5 The Game.
What you're talking about.
Sponsored by Love Chevrolet. 107.5 The Game.
Welcome back into the early game on 107.5 The Game. Tyler Head, Preston Thorne, along with you, Jen Jensen, producing on the other side of the glass. The ongoing saga of what's happening with the Pac-12 has yet to disappoint me. Preston, let me ask you this question. Why do we find this so entertaining? Why does this story have all of us so sucked in?
Oh, man, there's a lot of different ideas. Money. We always involved with money. We like following people with a lot of power, money, power. And then, like they said, respect. There's a respect level for some of those teams that don't feel like they're being well respected, or in the conference that they're in are not have the same prestige as other conferences. So, I mean, the trifecta usually works for us.
I feel like a part of this as well is seeing like high-ranking people being competent to a degree.
Also that, very much so.
You know, we had a couple weeks ago, Pac-12 Media Days, George Kliavkoff, the commissioner of the Pac-12, coming out there and, you know, seemed very smug in what he was saying. They're like, well, you know, the longer we wait, the better the deal is going to be. And we're not going to announce anything because we want the folks to be on football war. Guess what, buddy? Nobody's talking about football right now. It's all about realignment.
We have a deal. We're just not announcing it now. We want the focus to be on this 100% on football.
And while it has not officially been announced, we now know that the deal that's been presented to the Pac-12 from Apple, right in the neighborhood of around $20 million, exclusively streaming. And, you know, when you look at the payouts compared to the other Power 5 conferences, you're taking a loss of at least $10 million every single year for these member institutions, which is why these schools are looking more and more into going elsewhere. And in fact, the Arizona Board of Regents has a meeting coming up tonight where they will be discussing the future of both Arizona and Arizona State. So by this time tomorrow, we could be talking about 2 more schools getting set to join the Big 12.
This is about money, correct?
It is at apps 100%.
Let's not even be so. I have to ask the question. They keep making more money.
Yes.
Where is the money going? Because they keep also fighting to not pay players with this money that they're receiving. So what's going? And we also know that the universities are not getting the money.
Sure. Because it all goes back in the athletic department, or at least a vast majority of it does.
Okay. All right. So I just want to make sure that we all understand this is not about making it, because they also claim it on one end, you know, we want to protect and enhance our student athletes' lives and they're our number one priority, but that's not true.
Yeah.
Number one priority is money.
Well, obviously the priority is not the fans either if you were trying to go to a streaming service.
One,
you know?
There's 2 problems with that. There's 2 issues with that. One, if you're going to a streaming service, that automatically eliminates folks who cannot or will not. I would even say who will. I'm just not going to do it. I don't want to do it. That's one thing. Yep. And then 2, what about if I want to travel to a game?
Mm-hmm.
So now the geographic footprint is all over the country. And so there's a difference between being able to get in my car and ride to Athens or ride to Gainesville.
Mm-hmm.
You know, I can do that. But if all of a sudden the SEC also includes Arizona,
right?
Well, I'm not going to that game.
You're telling me there aren't going to be too many Rutgers fans making the trip out to LA when they play Southern Cal?
Well, Rutgers fans might go to LA, but I doubt LA fans are going to New Jersey.
You know, I think that's a solid assessment.
Well, I got to ask, are there Rutgers fans? I don't think I've ever met one in my life.
I'm sure if you went to school there, I guess you might be an alum, but
I actually went there, the Piscataway campus. I had gotten a digital marketing, what they called a mini MBA.
Mm-hmm.
It was kind of an interesting thing several years ago, and it was like an intensive, like week-long course or whatever. And it was in the middle of winter. So of course that was delightful and just reminded me like, yeah, but and again, it was not, I didn't associate with the general population. I guess it was more of a advanced type thing, but there was just nothing exciting for me about it at all. It was just like,
that was the
cluttered and congested and ugh.
That was the funny thing about Rutgers joining the Big Ten when they did, because we always talk about media markets and like the LA media market, the Atlanta media market, the Dallas Fort Worth media market. When Rutgers joined the Big Ten, they're like, oh, we get the New York, New Jersey media market. Nobody in New York City cares about Rutgers football.
I wouldn't think so.
That's not moving the needle. I'm sorry.
That's when they ran the okie doke. They just showed the numbers, but do these numbers of people who actually care? It's a little bit different.
I'd love to do like one of those man on the street type of things and like ask 100 people, do you know anything about Rutgers football? I guarantee you half of them would think I'm talking about high school.
That's a really good point.
That is a really good point, because again, this is Columbia, and if you're listening out there, we appreciate it. But we're invested in here.
Sure.
But in the general public of this city, you could walk around the city and be like, who's the quarterback or who's the coach?
Sure.
Who's the head coach of the team? A very high percentage would know that.
Yeah.
If they didn't know Shane Beamer, they would know it was Will Muschamp. They know something. There's a high chance if you went to New Jersey and said Rutgers Athletics, they'd be like, oh, I don't know.
His name's Coach.
Yeah.
Right, Coach, right. Let me ask you this, off of that, with how invested we are just in the Southeast in general and the SEC, how successful would a streaming only service be for the SEC if they decided to go that route?
Now, it could work for us.
Yeah.
That's what I think I said that the other day. They just have the wrong target audience.
Yes.
I don't think that the Pac-12 folks are interested enough to take that extra step. But I hope the SEC doesn't do it. But if they did, I mean, I'm there.
The highest rated game between two Pac-12 opponents last year was Southern Cal and UCLA. They played in week 12, pulled in 4.5 million viewers on Fox at 8 o'clock on a Saturday night. Again, it's a pretty good number. I guarantee you over half that audience came from the casual college football fans. Hey, two pretty good teams playing on prime time. I'll check it out. And two brands that are not going to be in the Pac-12 come next year. They're going to the Big Ten. So like, if that's what you hang your hat on, is like, well, all those people are going to be willing to pay for this streaming service to watch Pac-12 football. That's not going to happen.
Yeah, that's not a very wise business decision. You're making assumptions in business that sometimes people it's just the phrase, my favorite phrase, that's a bridge too far.
That's right.
And, I'll do this, I'll do anything, but I won't do that. And we'll see. So I just don't think those folks are as invested as they're assuming they will be. And they'll find something else to do with their entertainment dollar and time other than pay for Pac-12 football.
I thought you were about to break into a little bit of Meatloaf there.
And I could do anything.
But I won't do that.
Shout out to Meatloaf, RP.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
It's not a bad voice.
Thank you, man. I appreciate it.
He's a man of, he's kind of I think Preston is a Renaissance man. There's a lot of things, very talented. Yeah.
I appreciate that. Some people would say scattered, maybe. Very, very wide ranging in interests.
I think there's nothing wrong with that, though.
There's just a lot going on.
Absolutely. We'll continue to talk about realignment as the show goes along, because there's a lot of moving pieces here. And at this point, just about every single Power 5 conference is involved to some degree. We'll continue that conversation as the early game rolls on here on 107.5 The Game.
Got a take?
Hit us up on the Firehouse Subs text line.
Firehouse Subs, founded by firemen.
803-404-6100.
On your home of the Gamecocks.
107.5 The Game.
Sponsored by AutoZone. Get in the zone. Starting stronger starts at AutoZone, where they've got battery solutions in the form of free battery testing, free battery charging, and replacement batteries that fit your needs. That's what makes them America's #1 battery destination. Get in the zone. AutoZone.
Life matters. Years ago, Campus Crusade for Christ founder Bill Bright was diagnosed with a terminal illness. As he settled in for long bed rest, he began writing a book called The Journey Home. In the book, Bright quoted Charles Spurgeon, a famous London pastor from the late 1800s. Spurgeon said, "May we live here like visitors and not make this world our home, but an inn. in which we would stop and lodge, expecting to be on our journey tomorrow. Spurgeon's words caused Bill to write, "Knowing that heaven is our real home makes it easier to pass through tough times here on earth. I've taken comfort often in the knowledge that the perils of a journey here on earth will be nothing compared to the glories of heaven." For the Christian, whether death is near or far away, we can focus with faith on our eternal home. This is Pastor Stephen Chitty from Christian Life. Visit us on the web at ChristianLifeColumbia.com to learn more. And remember, life matters, and so do you. Go to CLColumbia.com for in-person and live streaming service times.
Preston Thorne here for the Red Shirt Guys Roofing, where they believe roofing is a craft, not a commodity. They are committed to staying up to date on the latest installation techniques and products. That's why they are the Midland's highest rated roofing company. The Red Shirt Guys do the right thing on and off the roof, and they will be here long after the job is complete. Residential or commercial, choose the Red Shirt Guys Roofing. Request a free quote online or call them. 243-3968. TheRedShirtGuys.com.
Hi, everybody. This is Woody Wyndham here to talk about Pioneer Tree Service. Pioneer Tree Service has more than 4 decades of helping homeowners maintain and manage trees on their property. Their skilled crew offers customized solutions that match your needs and budget. Tree trimming and tree removal can be dangerous. You need to trust the people that are doing the job. Before attempting to remove limbs, call Pioneer Tree Service for a free quote. They remove limbs safely and make sure that future growth is directed away from potential trouble areas such as roof lines and driveways. Cutting down trees takes more than a chainsaw. Even branches can weigh thousands of pounds, and their removal must be handled with care. Pioneer Tree Service offers a full complement of state-of-the-art heavy equipment, from track hose to bucket trucks to safely remove trees and stumps from your property. And no matter where you live, the Gantt girls can get there. And I want you to call them at 803-794-8253.
Can you imagine a world without junk?
A world where there is room to breathe and stretch out and play.
A world with enough room to laugh and live and love.
You have the power to make that world happen.
And that power is in your forefinger.
We make junk disappear.
All you have to do is point.
Invite us to your house.
We'll only be there a few minutes.
Any home or apartment.
Workplace or job site.
We're industrial strength magicians.
All you have to do is point.
Call 1-800-GOT-JUNK
or visit 1-800-GOTJUNK.com.
South Carolina Department of Corrections is hiring correctional officers, nurses, food services, facilities maintenance, mental health professionals, law enforcement officers, teachers, and more statewide. There are sign-on bonuses for officers, food services, nurses, and law enforcement officers. South Carolina Department of Corrections has great employee benefits like 6 weeks of PTO accrued yearly and police officer retirement. Start a rewarding new career today. Visit joinscdc.com to apply.
Find more school essentials at Family Dollar. Stock up on pencils, glue sticks, crayons, and binders. Show off your style with dorm room basics and get fresh with stylish apparel, all on sale now. Family Dollar, helping you do more.
1075 The Game traffic, sponsored by the South Carolina Department of Corrections.
South Carolina Department of Corrections is hiring statewide with huge pay raises. Correctional officers can now make $50,000 plus in their first year. Officers must be at least 18 years of age. Visit joinscdc.com to apply.
WIS-TV First Alert Traffic on 107.5 The Game.
No major slowdowns to speak of right now. That's great news. We hope it stays that way for your Thursday morning commute. Afternoon showers, but we could actually see some beginning later this morning. 83 will be your high, 86 tomorrow with some storms early on. 73 right now at 107.5 The Game.
Broadcasting live from the Herndon Chevrolet Studios. This is 107.5 The Game.
Discover Herndon Certified, Herndon Chevrolet's premier used car warranty. Shop with complete confidence, knowing Herndon Chevrolet has got you covered.
Stop by or shop online today and see why Herndon Chevrolet makes you smile. The Early Game with Bill Gunter.
Former Gamecock Preston Thorne.
And Jen Jensen on your home of the Gamecocks.
107.5 The Game.
Welcome back into the Early Game on 107.5 The Game. Tyler Preston and Jen along with you on this Thursday morning. I want to remind y'all about the 107.5 The Game football kickoff golf tournament coming up on Friday, August 25th out at Charwood Golf Club in West Columbia. you want to take part, it's $100 per person and $400 per team. Lunch can be provided by Firehouse Subs. We'll be raffling off football tickets, Carolyn passes, and much, much more. If you want to take part, give Charlwood a call at 803-755-2000. Don't wait too long because those spots are going to fill up fast for the 107.5 The Game football kickoff golf tournament. We'll get into more of the conference realignment conversation in the next hour, but did want to hit this as we wrap up hour number 2. This news coming out of Baton Rouge yesterday that LSU's defensive line coach Jimmy Lindsey, who of course was at South Carolina before taking the job there a couple of months ago, will be stepping away from the team to deal with a personal health matter for an unknown period of time. Head coach Brian Kelly said, "Our prayers are with Coach Lindsey and his family, and we ask that their privacy be respected. We look forward to his return to the program." And again, Coach Lindsey, obviously very good for South Carolina in his tenure here, and hopefully this is nothing too serious and he can make his way back into coaching here soon.
Yeah, it must be something, like I said, we don't know what it is, but it must be something substantial because coaches are not going to miss practice, especially this time, first year, all of those circumstances that are building. So, hopefully that thing gets taken care of and he takes the time that he needs for himself or his family or whatever the situation is, because I would venture to say that it's pretty serious if a coach is missing this amount of time at this point in the season.
Yeah, so defensive line assistant John Jankek will be stepping up to the defensive line coach. And of course, they're in the midst of starting camp as well, just a month away from their season getting started. They'll take on FSU in week number 1. But, thinking about it, if you're in a position group, say like the defensive line, and your coach suddenly has to step away for something like this, what changes? How does that affect everything as you get camp started?
It could change everything. Because a new coach, I've said it a couple times on air, but every coach is different. Just like every boss is different. Just like every worker. So it just changes the dynamics of the room. And I'm assuming he was just kind of getting to learn those guys throughout the summer.
Sure.
So yeah, it'll change everything from the verbiage that they use to the drills that they do, the way that they watch film. So everybody's lives will be affected by that. So we'll see.
Yeah, it's going to be interesting. And like you said, getting used to these guys, certainly have a lot of guys that come in at the end of May that, and again, through most of the summer, it is, the workouts and stuff like that. So you're not having the one-on-one position type of stuff. So yeah, definitely an acclimation process that you would have had once camp got started there. But again, Coach Lynn's going to be out for an unknown period of time. We certainly wish the best for him and his family for whatever's going on there, and hopefully he can make his way back to LSU hopefully sometime this season, and we'll see what happens from there.
Yeah, that'll be the best gig because again, that it's interesting. All of this, none of this matters when your health is at risk.
No, not at all.
When you're healthy, it doesn't matter what team you are, how much money you make. The only thing you're worried about is your health.
Yeah, no, absolutely. And that's a good program down there in LSU, and I'm sure they'll give him all the support and help he needs for whatever's going on. And again, hopefully it's nothing too serious and he can make his return to coaching sometime this year, hopefully.
Yep.
So
we'll see.
All right. As I said, we'll have more on the conference realignment talk, as a lot of moving pieces between the Pac-12, the Big 12, and the ACC is getting included now. We'll dive into all that in hour number 2. I believe we're talking with Kerry Tharp as well.
Yes, we are.
Today for the usual Thursday slot. So excited to hear from him, talk about what's happening this weekend at Michigan for NASCAR.
Excited to not have Bill as part of the segment this week. Got to be honest.
I guess do I get to make Bill's pick this week?
No, because you would pick well.
Oh, I'll pick really bad just to screw with him.
I'd be okay with that.
And we have another expert in the house today, so we can really juice up the conversation.
Absolutely.
Right. Hour number 2 coming up on 107.5 The Game.
WNKT FM, Eastover, Columbia.
This is USC linebacker Mo Kaba, and you're listening to 107.5 The Game, home of the Gamecocks.
A Cumulus media station.
For more than a century, AM radio has evolved to meet the needs of our community. More than 80 million listeners depend on AM radio each month. AM radio is also the backbone of the emergency alert system, which keeps us safe in dangerous times. It's reliable, free, and public safety depends on it. Text AM to 52886 and tell Congress we need AM radio in cars.
Message and data rates may apply. You may receive up to 4 messages a month, and you may text STOP to stop.
This message furnished by the National Association of Broadcasters.
Hey, I'm Jenny Storm. I'm with Stormy Plumbing. Call my dad if you have any slow drains, clogged drains, leaky pipes, runny toilets, runny sinks, or no hot water. Call Stormy Plumbing for all of your service and repair needs. 803-201-2689. At Stormy Plumbing, where we make your gray skies blue.
Hey, this is Brian with Stormy Plumbing.
Give us a call at 803-201-2689. Again, the number is 803-201-2689. We look forward to hearing from you.
My brother and I started a manufacturing company in the upstate 26 years ago. Last year, we decided it was time to sell our company, and we reached out to Purpose Equity Group for help. Working with Dan and his team, they helped walk us through our options. They were able to get us 10 offers, and we chose the buyer who was a great financial and cultural fit to lead the company forward. If you own a business and are contemplating a transition, we highly recommend the team at Purpose Equity.
Hi, I'm Dan D'Alberto. If you own a founder-led or family business and are considering selling, call us. We've helped business owners and their families across South Carolina transition their companies to new ownership. At Purpose Equity, we know the hard work and sacrifice you've spent building your business. Exiting your business to the right buyer at the right price is extremely important. Give us a call at 803-995-6028 or visit us online at purposeequitygroup.com. Our first visit is free and confidential.
Why do you change your car's air filter? Because when it's clogged, it doesn't work. The same is true of your nose, the body's air filter. It's great at trapping allergens, dust, and viruses, but unless you clean it regularly, they can stay trapped, making you miserable. I'm Martin Hogue, inventor of Navage, the world's only nose cleaner with powered suction. Navage pulls saline in one nostril, around the back of the nose, and out the other nostril, helping to flush out allergens, mucus, and germs. Here's a testimonial from a verified purchaser and a big Navage fan. Quote, I've been suffering for 30 years with chronic sinus infections and allergies. I stumbled across Navage. The suction is amazing. It cleared my sinus cavities better than anything I've tried before. Unquote. Navage has over 120,000 reviews with a 4.6 star average written by people who use Navage to breathe better, snore less, and feel healthier. Wash your body's air filter with Navage at Walmart, Walgreens, CVS, Rite Aid, and Target. Navage, N-A-V-A-G-E, clean nose, healthy life.
Experience the science of clean with Zerorez carpet cleaning. Did you know that residue from detergents can make your carpets worse? Thankfully, Zerorez uses its patented electrolyzed ZR water that cleans and eliminates dirt without any chemical additives. This way, your carpets stay cleaner longer. To make things better, call and mention Bill Gunner at 107.5 The Game to get 3 rooms of carpet clean for only $129 or schedule online, ZerorezColumbia.com.
What you're talking about.
On 107.5 The Game.
Sponsored by Love Chevrolet. There are lots of places to buy your next ride, but there is no place like Love Chevy, where you never pay more than MSRP, ever. Come by and feel the difference of love. I-26 at Harbison and at lovechevy.com. Find new roads. The early game.
With Bill Gunter.
I don't know if we'll get on this path today because this show we tend to just teeter wildly out of control.
Former Gamecock Preston Thorne.
Unfortunately, I might know a little bit about the Kardashians.
Oh.
And just like that, we're away from sports talk.
And Jen Jensen.
37 text messages right now. One person. Sports talk show. Talk sports. Sir, ma'am, whoever. Yeah, you
we'll
don't
be back.
You don't get the program. You don't get the program. You don't understand what we're doing here.
On your home of the Gamecocks.
The theme of this show. I don't know. What happened?
107.5 The Game.
Hour number 3 of the early game on 107.5 The Game. Tyler Head in for Bill Gunter this morning alongside Preston Thorne, Jen Jensen on the other side of the glass. We are a little over 24 hours away from South Carolina taking to the field for the start of fall camp. So we are just over a month away from the season starting. Today is media day. We'll hear from coach. We'll hear from the players. A last second little bit to meet with them, to hear their final thoughts before we jump into camp. And then, of course, make that stretch run to the season starting on September the 2nd against North Carolina. I mentioned we're going to jump back into this conversation about conference realignment. On the Firehouse Subs text line, nameless texter makes a good point. They said there's always a guinea pig. The Pac-12 streaming service is the guinea pig for the rest of us. That's a good point. I don't know if we're ever fully going to get to the point where all sports are streaming, because as we know, sports are kind of what's keeping a lot of these cable companies supported right now, because sports are one of the few things that people aren't going to DVR that they do want to watch live. And I know for a lot of us, a lot of our life does revolve around streaming, but there's still tens of hundreds of millions of people that still have DirecTV, Dish Network, all those kind of things. Those things aren't gonna die anytime soon, and they will be paying handsomely to make sure that there are sports on live TV as much as they can.
Yeah, I get the idea of that being a guinea pig, but I don't think the circumstances are the same. So in that metaphor, the control group is not the same because the SEC
Right.
is not the same as the Pac-12.
And in the same regard, that's actually kind of what caused problems for the Pac-12 a decade ago with their own network.
Right,
So
exactly.
The Big Ten network had been around for a couple of years. The Pac-12 said, "Hey, we want to jump on that." This is before the SEC had their own, before the ACC had their own. So they jumped in on that. The only problem was they did it 100% on their own. They didn't have a support like Fox or ESPN backing them, and it just didn't turn into what they expected it to be. And that's something that Larry Scott, the former commissioner of the conference, really hung his hat on, and it just didn't end up working out. And now you're looking at this new TV deal where now you're getting significantly less than everybody else because, again, you don't have the market to support what you were trying to do.
We're watching the Braves Angels game, right?
Yep.
We're watching it here, and it's on the Bally Sports Network.
Yes.
And this is making me think of the same concept.
Ooh, that's a good point.
Right?
Yes.
When I was growing up, probably for a majority of the time when you were growing up, the Braves were on TBS, widely available so that you can just watch it at any time. And I think that's how a lot of people sort of just fell into becoming Braves fan.
Sure.
I would consider myself maybe below casual as a Braves fan now, and I'm not going out of my way to access this network. And baseball is trying to do this.
Right.
And I'm not sure what the results have been.
Yeah. And funny thing, Bally Sports has run into a lot of problems with companies like DirecTV and stuff not carrying this network. So there are a lot of Braves fans around the Southeast that would love to watch games that don't get the opportunity to because they can't come to an agreement. And funny enough, Pac-12 couldn't get themselves on DirecTV either. So that obviously shut them out from a lot of people's homes.
So what they call them, the regional sports networks are really, really struggling because they can't get on those big package systems.
Yes.
And obviously baseball's a little bit different because it's more of an everyday thing. It's more casual. I get that and I understand that. It's not necessarily event viewing, but I just think it's a big gamble of assuming that people are going to take that extra step, and I don't know if they will.
And look, we're all super diehard college football fans here that I'll watch a Division III game. If it's on. I don't care.
Well, to that point, that's a lot of the reasons why I watch Pac-12 games.
Exactly, because it's there, because you've been watching football all day long, and the SEC game just ended. It's 10:30, not ready to go to bed yet. Let me see what's happening on the West Coast. Arizona State's playing Washington State. All right, I'll put it on.
Exactly.
Am I going to be locked in on it as much as I've been in the other games of the day? Probably not, but maybe I'll see something interesting, or maybe there's a guy in there that's highly touted as a draft pick that I want to take a look at or something like that. But it's easily available because I just have to flip my TV remote to it, ESPN, ESPN2, whatever it may be, and just watch it. But if you're now asking me to go to a separate app that I have to pay extra money for and do all this kind of stuff, I was telling this to Terry the other day. I have ESPN Plus because my parents have Hulu Live TV. You get ESPN Plus included in that. So I have the logins to all that I can access in my apartment. And there's a litany of like Big 12 football games on there. Even some SEC games started to go on there. Like Georgia played Kent State on ESPN Plus last year. But most of the time, if I see a game's on ESPN Plus, I don't go through the 2 steps it takes to go to that game because it's not as easily accessible as all the other ones on regular broadcast TV.
Samesies, same concept. And I won't put a number on it, but a very high percentage of my Pac-12 viewing is just I'm on a Saturday. I've done football all day, and it's just around. Or my brother calls me, "Hey man, you watching this Washington State game or Oregon State game?
Yeah.
It's crazy. They scored 30 points. You need to turn it out." "Oh, okay, Corey, I'll call it. I'll check it out."
Yeah.
That's kind of the viewing.
We all love Pac-12 After Dark.
That's what it's into. Speaking of gambling, that's one of the things that the gamblers are working on. Like, I've lost all day. Maybe I can make up in the Pac-12.
Like,
Hawaii's playing.
Yeah, that's a Pac-12 game, and the over/under is only 80, or the total is only 80. So yeah, I'm gonna take the over on that.
And so I think it's just a matter of knowing what their product is. I don't think they don't understand what exactly their product is, and they're not working to be beneficial to that.
No, and you know, when you look at all the missteps the Pac-12 has made over the past decade, you know, they had the opportunity to bring in a Texas and Oklahoma a decade ago. They had the opportunity to do kind of a merger with the Big 12 a couple of years ago. That, funny enough, I was reading a story the other day that now Kleinkoff called the Big 12 like, hey, remember that thing we were talking about? And they're like, yeah, no, we're not interested. Like, they are teetering on the verge of going extinct. And you know, the main talk has been about teams deflecting to the Big 12, but we got some reports yesterday out of Dan Wetzel of Yahoo Sports that the Big 10 has started conversations about adding the likes of Oregon, Washington, possibly even Cal and Stanford. Now, if you go to the Big 10, your guaranteed payout, if you get the full thing, is $50 million. So you're talking about almost more than double the jump of what you're almost kind of looking at being guaranteed with the Pac-12. So even if like you only get half of that, that's still a better deal than what you're getting. And again, it's all about money at the end of the day. I do think it's interesting that in this report, Dan Wetzel said the Big Ten does not want to be the death blow to the Pac-12. But if we have a couple more teams, say the two Arizona schools, maybe Utah, jump ship to the Big 12 here in the next couple of days, Big Ten's going to jump on that because that is going. The Pac-12's already done at that point.
Yeah, and the Big Ten's going to want those brains. They want Stanford. They may not want those athletically, but as long as we're under the charade of this being college athletics, let's get the biggest brains that we can have. Stanford, Cal, all those really smart people. That looks really good to be part of our conference.
And of course, we look through this. We look at this through a lens of college football because it's the biggest, most popular sport, generates the most revenue. But there are obviously other sports that do come into play. And I think about a team like Stanford. Yes, they're not good at football right now. They're really good at baseball, though. And that does prove beneficial to the Big Ten to some degree.
They've been good at basketball. They're always good at women's basketball.
Yeah, exactly.
So there's definitely other values that they provide. And again, I read something the other day. Don't sleep on the idea that, man, we can have that Stanford imprint in our conference.
Oh, absolutely.
And now we're known. Not only do we have Michigan as being smart, but we have another smart team. You know, so that's something that conference does value.
Now, the thing I'm curious to see about other Pac-12 teams joining the Big Ten is Southern Cal and UCLA really want to keep a hold on the West Coast, especially when it comes to recruiting. They can say we're the only Big Ten teams out here on the West Coast. That goes a long way. But if you suddenly invite 4 or 5 more, however it may be, then you lose that a little bit. So I'm interested to see what the influence of the 2 California schools that we know are going to be in the Big Ten are on potentially bringing in more in the next couple of years.
Yeah, I mean, again, I know this conference realignment talk can kind of get draining after all. It's like, what's happening now? But I would just remind folks that as long as there's been college athletics, there's always been realignment. There's always been people changing conferences.
But never to this degree that we've seen it in the past couple of years.
It seems like it's going haywire now, but
because
it'll figure it out. It'll settle down.
When Carolina and Arkansas joined the SEC 30 years ago, that was a big deal.
Of course.
When Missouri and Texas A&M made the move in 2012, that was a big deal. Like, it was like, man, this stuff just doesn't happen all that often. And now we're potentially talking about 3 or 4 moves within the span of a week to a week and a half.
Yeah.
Like, it's crazy how far we've come. And I was thinking about this yesterday. And look, I've been so invested in this story because it's just crazy. And it really brings you in and hooks you. But I was thinking about it yesterday. Like, man, when I was a kid, I just turned on football and watched it and enjoyed it. I didn't know anything about media deals, contracts, grant of rights, any of that stuff. I just turned on football because I like to watch it and I enjoyed it on a Saturday. And like, as we grow up and obviously doing the job that we do now, we have to learn about these things and be invested in them. But there's always that degree of in the back of my mind of like, I miss the simplicity of just being able to turn on football and watch it and not have to worry about anything else.
Yeah, that's the power of being a child because you think everything just appears.
Exactly.
And then when you get to become an adult, you're like, oh, you mean I have to put gas in the car? Oh, gas costs money. Oh, that's how this works.
The groceries don't appear in
they
the
don't
cupboard.
just appear on the table. Oh man, I didn't know that. Yeah, you learn all these things take power.
That reminds me of a funny thing. My sister, she's 10 years older than me, but my mom always tells the story that, you know, my sister was a little kid and was playing in her room or whatever. She would pretend to go to the bank. And she would always, when she'd do that, she'd just hold out her hand and say, "Bank, give me some money," because when she go to the bank with my mom, she saw them hand her money at the bank counter or whatever, and she just assumed that's how it worked.
Yeah, I didn't. For sure.
When my oldest sister was little, there was one time where, there was something she wanted. And Mom said, "Well, I don't have any, money with me right now." And she said, "Well, just write a check."
Oh,
She's
yeah. It just magically appears on that piece of paper,
exactly. So in that check is not connected to anything tangible. So, just write a check. It's all good.
It makes perfect sense in the mind of a child under 12.
Yeah. And sometimes you would like to just keep that understanding of the world. Like, can I just turn this football game on and just watch people run and score touchdowns?
Exactly.
Without having to pay more and more money to watch that.
It's kind of one of those things like you never want to learn how the sausage is made.
Exactly.
But at some point you get very curious and then you're like, well, now I can never look at this the same way again. So now understanding all the inner workings of college athletics, like I can't unlearn this. I know it. I'm just going to have to go on knowing that information now.
Yeah, but I mean, we're truly in a time of upheaval and change in college athletics. And so where we are now, we guarantee that we won't be next year.
Yeah.
And I don't know when the end of this is going to happen, but there's a lot of change that's happening. So it could be draining, but it could be exciting too. Let's see where this goes.
It could be. And, the conversation's been around what's happening with Pac-12, the Big 12, and now the Big 10 joining the fray. Yesterday, though, FSU decided they just wanted people to talk about them. We'll touch on what went down in Tallahassee and what's attempting to go down in Tallahassee coming up next. You're listening to the early game. Tyler Head in for Bill Gunter, Preston Thorne, Jen Jess on the other side of the glass here on 107.5 The Game.
Friday, August 25th. Join 107.5 The Game for our football kickoff golf tournament. Our summer golf classic at Charwood Golf Club in West Columbia. 9:30 shotgun start. $100 a person, $400 for a team. Call Charwood at 803-755-2000. Lunch provided by Firehouse Subs. We'll be raffling off football tickets, Carowinds passes, and more. Our football kickoff tournament. The Summer Golf Classic. Friday, August 25th. From your home of the Gamecocks. 107.5 The Game.
This is John Marks with the CBS Sports Minute. Winners and losers at the MLB trade deadline. Let's go with a loser. How about those Dodgers? They were looking for starting pitching help and turned to Detroit and Eduardo Rodriguez. But Edrod said no thanks, blocking a trade to remain with the Tigers. The Dodgers were surprised Rodriguez rejected the trade and ended up striking out in the starting pitching market. I'm John Marks.
Your next success begins with University of Maryland Global Campus, an accredited state university for more than 75 years. UMGC has been giving working adults the affordable, online education you need to reach the future you want. Because the path to success is different for everyone, we offer more than 125 undergraduate and graduate degrees and certificates, along with success coaches and lifetime career services. Our online and hybrid courses let you learn on your schedule. No-cost digital materials in place of most textbooks, affordable tuition, and financial resources make UMGC accessible. You know what it feels like to succeed. We'll help you succeed again. Too late isn't in your vocabulary. Reach your next goal at University of Maryland Global Campus. Apply now and save with no application fee. Undergraduate and most graduate courses start August 16th. Learn more at umgc.edu, certified to operate by Chef.
Sponsored by AutoZone. Get in the zone. Starting stronger starts at AutoZone, where they've got battery solutions in the form of free battery testing, free battery charging, and replacement batteries that fit your needs. That's what makes them America's #1 battery destination. Get in the zone. AutoZone.
Hey, this is Paul Romanstein, proud owner of Midlands Landscape and Lawns. Is it time for a new lawn? You need to start with a smooth grade done right. Then a must is a new Rainbird irrigation system that comes complete with a 1-year warranty. We will then help you know what turf is right for your yard. Tiff Tough Bermuda is a great turf for full sun. Then let the pros maintain your whole property and keep your new grass green and healthy and weed-free. At Midlands Landscape and Lawns, we hate weeds. So that's why you can find us at hateweeds.com. hateweeds.com.
Prescriptions require an online consultation with a healthcare provider who will determine if appropriate. Restrictions apply. See website for details and important safety information. Subscription required. Price varies based on product and subscription plan.
Hey guys, did you know there's a generic form of Viagra that works just the same, but is 95% cheaper? Just go to 4hims.com/joy. Through HIMS, you'll get a free medical consultation, discreet shipping if prescribed, and the process is 100% online. To start your free online visit, go to 4hims.com/joy. That's FORHIMS.com/JOY.
This is Larry Leitner, owner and founder of Midstate Roofing. And for nearly 30 years, we've continued to be the proven leader in the roofing and waterproofing industry. Midstate Roofing's proven history is your assurance that our professionals at Midstate Roofing will provide the proper advice, service, and results to the needs of your facility in a manner both safe and pleasing to your operation. From high-rise to hospitals, manufacturing to industrial, Midstate Roofing designs and installs bonded systems with a protective guarantee that will keep your operation dry and running long into the future. 24 hours a day, 7 days a week.
And this is Blake Leitner, reminding you to protect that roof with a maintenance contract. Call me today at 803-356-1919 or online at midstateroofing.com. That's midstateroofing.com.
You'll speak to an on-call technician after hours or a Midstate Roofing staff member during hours at 803-356-1919 or online at midstateroofing.com. And as always, tell them Midstate Twins.
If you have a leak, let Midstate Roofing take a peek.
Get ready to paint Charlotte garnet and black on September 2nd when the Gamecocks kick off the season versus UNC at Bank of America Stadium. Visit GamecocksOnline.com to secure your tickets today.
One search engine is used by 9 out of 10 consumers. Hint, the name begins with a G. And there are hundreds of things that go into being ranked highly by that engine. Your website, your business profile, even your social accounts. A couple of slip-ups and you find yourself on page 7. But at Cumulus Boost, we have the experts and resources to fix what's wrong and boost your findability so you can rank higher than your competition. Get started today at cumulusboost.com. CUMULUS boost.com.
South Carolina Department of Corrections is hiring statewide with huge pay raises. Correctional officers can now make $50,000 plus in their first year. Officers must be at least 18 years of age. Visit joinscdc.com to apply.
WIS-TV First Alert Traffic on 107.5 The Game.
I-20 westbound at Broad River Road, there is a stalled vehicle right there at the exit ramp. So their exit ramp is kind of blocked at this point. So again, that's I-20 westbound at Broad River Road. A stall has to the right. The exit ramp is currently blocked. So watch out for that. And you may have to make a quick decision if that has not been cleared as of yet. I-20 westbound at Highway 6, that would be exit 55. We do have a report of an accident there as well. Could see some rain this morning and then showers again this afternoon. 83 for the high. Some early storms tomorrow. Looking for a high of 86 for your Friday. It's 73 right now at 107.5 The Game.
Broadcasting live from the Herndon Chevrolet Studios. This is 107.5 The Game.
A great selection of new Chevys is available now at Herndon Chevrolet. The lot is packed with inventory and more is on the way. So shop your hometown Chevy dealer today.
Stop by or shop online today and see why Herndon Chevrolet makes you smile.
Welcome back into the early game on 107.5 The Game. Tyler Head in for Bill Gunter this morning alongside Preston Thorne. Jen Jensen on the other side of the glass. Preston and I having a little bit of a laugh during that commercial break, watching Get Up on ESPN. And I actually saw this the other day. And as I was mentioning to Preston, they popped it up on the TV. Tua Tagovailoa, of course, the quarterback for the Dolphins, has had a litany of injuries over the past couple of years. A lot of them doing with concussions. We all know that awful situation last year where he was laying on the field and his body was just freaking out because of how many concussions he'd suffered in a short period of time. Apparently he's going to try jiu-jitsu to combat getting injured more. I don't know how that correlates, especially when we're talking about head injuries.
Yeah, you hear these things about learning how to fall, which is a thing. You know, you need to learn how to fall properly so that you don't necessarily hurt yourself. A big life skill. That is something, especially as you get older, one of the things that hurts people is falling. We know that. We get that.
Sure.
But that has nothing to do with your head, sir. And if this 300-pound man lands on your head, there's no jiu-jitsu for that.
Yeah.
There's no karate. There's nothing that you can do in that instance. And you, sir, are playing a very dangerous game with what we've seen from your head injury past. So if it sounds good to you, I get it. Cool. but I don't think that was the issue.
Maybe it's one of those placebo effect kind of things where it's like, well, if you do this, you're going to feel like you're less susceptible to injuries. You're not really, but that at least give you the confidence that you're not going to get hurt. You know, like somebody gives you a glass of water and says it's magic and you drink it and you feel a lot better. And it's like, well, it's just regular water, but it helped you mentally, right?
Yeah. I don't know. Somebody sold him a program or something.
Yeah.
Or like, hey, man,
sold him some magic beans.
Yeah, come do this jiu-jitsu. I guess it'll work. It's not going to work. And the question is, you know, do they think he'll make it through the whole season without being injured? Hopefully, but betting on any NFL quarterback to make it through a whole season without being injured is not a great bet. If we was doing the DraftKings on this, I'm sure DraftKings has a line, and I don't think we would bet on that. So no,
which is crazy considering how, and I know this probably bothers you a lot, how protected quarterbacks are in today's football.
That's what I'm saying, Tyler. I've said it before. You can't hit them on the legs. You can't hit them in the head. You can't land on them. You can't push them. You can't hit them after they throw the ball. What can you do to these dudes?
So Grady Jarrett probably had one of the most egregious roughing the passer calls ever called on him last year on a hit on Tom Brady. He had one called on him a few years back, and this is when I was living in Georgia and was listening to Atlanta Sports Talk Radio the next day, and I forget who said it, but he said something to the effect of, I guess these defensive linemen and edge rushers and stuff just gotta pick them up, get a blanket, get a pillow, and just slowly lay them down. Make sure you tuck them in real nice and just gently lay them on the ground if you're going to sack them, right?
The most outrageous one you see now in the NFL is when they're landing on them. You see them land with their arms out wide as to not actually fall on the guy, or they're like spin aside.
Yeah, it's almost doing like a push-up over them.
It's like, I didn't fall on them.
Right.
Don't touch me.
You know, pretty soon it's going to be, excuse me. I need to tackle you, or need to
order a sack.
Yes, order a sack.
Excuse me, Mr. Quarterback. On this play, I'm planning on sacking you. Are you okay with that?
Which, by the way, one of the things talk about leading to camp fights we talked about earlier. The quarterbacks are so sneaky because they know they're protected.
Oh, they can do whatever they want.
Oh man, and then they'll be running the ball and talking trash like, "Ooh, look at me!" And I'm like, "Bruh, we can't even hit you."
I burned you on that one.
Oh man, they're so sneaky with that. That talk about getting frustrated.
Oh, now see, exactly. I could see where that would totally
take off that red jersey, then we'll talk.
Exactly. Yeah. Like, you got that yellow jersey on. You know you're protected. You know we can't touch you. You still out here talking trash?
I don't know if you caught it. Dawn Staley just walked past our window walking her dog in a stroller.
Oh, she's done that every so often. It's kind of fun. It's like, Champ.
So I'm not usually in here this early in the morning. I kind of did a double take, and like she literally had the dog in a stroller.
You saw Champ was taking Dawn out for a walk.
Oh, is that what it is?
That's how I was like, Coach, we're going for a walk now.
Yeah. Champ's living up. Champ's probably got a food bowl in there, probably has, a drink. And she's like, and literally when she goes by, you better not blink.
Yeah.
She's got speed.
She was going by pretty quick.
Some pace to her.
Yeah. So tell me,
fun.
Champ's a little bit spoiled.
You seen him in the stroller, right?
Yeah. And I'm pretty sure I maybe haven't seen it because of the hair, but I can't imagine there's not like a diamond collar. And I bet that dog gets pedicures, podicures.
It was a nice stroller.
Yeah,
I'm sure it was. I'm sure
there's shocks on it. Like a dog's in good shape.
To be the dog of Dawn Staley.
No kidding.
Doing well.
All right, I mentioned we were going to talk a little bit about the ACC and what's going on with Florida State. I'll probably save that for the other side as we roll on here with the early game. Tyler Head in for Bill Gunter alongside Preston Thorne. Ginges on the other side of the glass here on 107.5 The Game.
How would you like season tickets to all Gamecocks football games, baseball games, men's and women's basketball games?
Well, now you can.
It's the ultimate Gamecock season ticket giveaway, sponsored by the Men's Clinic of South Carolina.
Not feeling like yourself? Call the Men's Clinic at 803-875-MENS. You can win tickets to every USC football game at Williams-Brice.
South Carolina punctuates a massive upset.
Every Gamecock baseball game at Founders Park.
The Gamecocks strike first, a two-run shot from Ethan Petrie.
Every men's and women's hoops games at the CLA.
One undefeated team left in the nation. It's the South Carolina
Carolina Gamecocks.
Just go to 1075thegame.com and register to win.
The ultimate season ticket giveaway.
Sponsored by the Men's Clinic of South Carolina from your home of the Gamecocks. 1075 The Game.
Hey guys, Jay Phillips here for Integrated Media. You know they've been the Midland's leader in home theater for the past 2 decades for installation of amazing 4K televisions and surround sound systems to Wi-Fi that works everywhere. No one else compares to their customer service and quality. And now the guys at Integrated Media have expanded their brand to provide a state-of-the-art golf simulator experience next to their offices in Chapin. Pro Swing is what it's called. The golf simulators by Golf Zone have automatic tees. You don't have to bend over to set up your next shot. Amazing swing plate moving up to 24 different directions for a truly lifelike experience. The playing surface has simulated greenside and fairway bunkers, even 2 different cuts of rough to bring a real-life experience inside with 68 degrees of air conditioning every day. One golfer can play 18 holes in about an hour, 2 in 2, with selections of non-alcoholic drinks, domestic and craft beer. It's fun for the entire family. To book a tee time or to get golf lesson packages, visit ProSwingColumbia.com or call 803-948-8327. Have a blast with Pro Swing and Integrated Media.
Achieve an insanely clean home with Zerorez Carpet Cleaning. Call now and mention me, Bill Gunner, at 1075 The Game to get 3 rooms of carpet clean for only $129 or schedule online at ZerorezColumbia.com.
It's the Love Chevrolet Countdown to Gamecock football.
30 days till kickoff.
No games, no add-ons, no surprises. No wonder so many people buy with confidence at Love Chevy, home of the $1,000 low price guarantee.
I-26 at Harbison and at LoveChevy.com.
Find new roads.
Hey, this is Chastity from the Gutter Men. We have been providing top-notch service throughout the Midlands for over 47 years. We make and install seamless gutters in variety sizes and colors for residential and commercial to suit your needs. Call our guys in the powder blue trucks, 803-791-7147. That's 803-791-7147.
We keep the clutter out of your gutter. Call on the Gutter Men.
The new buzz this year is all about tax credits and cost reductions for AAA heating and air. Find out for yourself. Give them a phone call today and speak to their comfort advisors, 803-677-1500. You could get a tax credit of up to $3,800 plus a $1,500 rebate to buy back your old unit. Call AAA Heating and Air today to find out more, 803-677-1500.
AAA Air when you need us. AAA Heating and Air.
Hey Gamecocks, Ben Cato, 3rd generation owner of Cato's Power Club. Is your landscaping business losing valuable hours to pushing and trimming backyards and tight spaces? Introducing the Gravely Z-Stands. With deck sizes starting at 32 inches, these compact mowers feature a commercial Kawasaki engine and a 7-gauge cutting deck. With compact mowers come a compact price. We have models starting at just $71.99. The Gravely Z-Stance is sure to be your favorite new employee. Come check them out today at Cato's Power Equipment, 4012 West Beltline Boulevard.
Finding great candidates to hire can be like, well, trying to find a needle in a haystack, but not with ZipRecruiter. Its powerful technology actively finds and invites qualified candidates to apply to your job. So while other companies might deliver a lot of hay, ZipRecruiter finds you the needle in the haystack.
See why 4 out of 5 employers who post a job on ZipRecruiter get a quality candidate within the first day. Try ZipRecruiter for free at ZipRecruiter.com/free. That's ZipRecruiter.com/free.
Prescriptions require an online consultation with a healthcare provider who will determine if appropriate. Restrictions apply. See website for details and important safety information. Subscription required. Price varies based on product and subscription plan.
Hey guys, did you know there's a generic form of Viagra that works just the same, but is 95% cheaper? And you can get it online? Just go to 4hims.com/radio. Through Hims, you'll get a free medical consultation, discreet shipping if prescribed, a 100% online process, and trusted generic alternatives to the name brands at up to 95% off. That's right. Get generic for Viagra, the same active ingredient as brand name Viagra, but for 95% less. It's the same medication, still prescribed by a licensed medical provider, but with zero copay, no expensive appointments, and no awkward face-to-face conversations. To start your free online visit, you need to go to this exclusive address, 4hims.com/radio. That's 4hims.com/radio for your free online visit. FORHIMS.com/RADIO.
Locally owned Atlantic Windows and Doors has been making Columbia area homes more comfortable, attractive, weather-tight, and energy efficient for over 35 years. How? By distributing products from the best window and door manufacturers in the country. These products give you the best looks, the best quality, and the best value, all based on your specific needs. And everything is professionally installed by their dedicated and experienced employees, not subcontractors. Atlantic Windows and Doors. Visit them online at awdsc.com.
1075 The Game traffic, sponsored by the South Carolina Department of Corrections.
South Carolina Department of Corrections is hiring statewide with huge pay raises. Correctional officers can now make $50,000 plus in their first year. Officers must be at least 18 years of age. Visit joinscdc.com to apply.
WIS-TV First Alert Traffic on 1075 The Game.
Still have that stall at the right exit ramp that is blocked, I-20 westbound at Broad River Road. So may or may not be able to get off the interstate there. So kind of approach that cautiously. I-20 westbound, that exit ramp has an issue at Broad River Road. Clemson Road at Faro, we do have a report of an accident there, and still working I-20 westbound at Highway 6. That would be, of course, exit 55. Morning showers and then some afternoon showers today. 83 for the high, some early storms tomorrow. 86. It is overcast right now, and 74 at 107.5 The Game.
What you're talking about.
Sponsored by Love Chevrolet. 1075 The Game.
And welcome back into the early game on 107.5 The Game. Tyler Head in for Bill Gunter this morning alongside Preston Thorne. Jen Jensen on the other side of the glass. The story of realignment in college football is seemingly evolving by the hour. I feel like every time I refresh Twitter, something new is coming down the pipe, and very interested to see what happens with this Arizona Board of Regents meeting later on today to see if the Wildcats and the Sun Devils do indeed decide to depart to the Big 12 and who else might follow them. But again, the conversation around this is revolved around the Pac-12, the Big 12, a little bit of the Big 10 now. And then yesterday, Florida State just decides they want to throw their hat into the ring in all this. And here's Pete Thamel on SportsCenter yesterday talking a little bit about what FSU is at least talking about doing with exiting the ACC.
Yeah, Kevin, I think that there isn't a great sense of surprise. Florida State has made it known for really more than a year that this was its stance. They, Clemson, Miami, have been strong advocates of some type of unequal revenue share. I think what has everyone's jaws on the floor is just how public they've been. The key date for Florida State is August 15th. In just 2 weeks, they would have to let the ACC know in writing by that point if they would like to leave for another league to start the 2024 season. But the problem, Kevin, and what makes this Florida State conversation so fascinating is they have nowhere to go. There's a legal thicket they'd have to go through in order to go to another league. Another league's not going to invite them till they get through the legal thicket. And it's uncertain whether or not they'd have their rights. The grant of rights that Florida State has signed as part of the ACC is through 2036. So hundreds of millions of dollars are at stake here. And this is a lot of loud rhetoric. The question is, will we finally see some action?
This reminds me so much of like the guy in high school that approaches the group of girls and says, "Ladies, I'm single." And they all just kind of turn and laugh at him. Like, nobody's interested in Florida State right now. And they're just like, "Well, we want to leave the ACC." Oh, okay. Well, enjoy being independent, I guess.
Also at the same time saying, yeah, I'm stuck here with the rest of these bums in this conference.
Yeah.
I'm bringing in all the money and everybody else is free. Clemson's cool. Miami, you're cool too.
But all you other losers.
Yeah. All you other losers in the conference that's not making no money. Why are we hanging out with you? It's a very interesting tactic.
They called the rest of the conference broke boys, basically.
1,000. Yeah, that's exactly what they said. They said Boston College, Virginia, all y'all are broke, man. Y'all are bringing nothing to this conference. Why are we still here? We need to get out. They want to get out of there. Problem is nobody's actually invited them out of there.
Exactly. And as Pete Thamel mentioned there, their exit fee is $120 million.
That was a nice way. He phrased that. He said the term legal thicket.
Yes.
Which just means piles of cash.
Because as we've talked about plenty on the airways here on 107.5 The Game, the ACC has an ironclad grant of rights deal, which means if Florida State were to leave the conference, if they found somewhere to go next week and they said, all right, we are leaving for, let's just say, the Big Ten in 2024, there's no guarantee the Big Ten would get rights to their games because the ACC still owns it through 2036. And as we've heard, it's pretty ironclad. And there's been plenty of attorneys that have looked that thing up and down and haven't found a way to crack into it. Like, I don't see where Florida State's going to go here.
And again, I think part of what you said is really why this is intriguing, because the more you peek behind the curtains, you sort of start to see like, man, maybe there's nothing there. Maybe there's nothing there with these folks. Maybe the emperor doesn't have any clothes, because the irony of this statement from the Florida State AD, he says, we're working with the conference now. We're talking to them about how to create a revenue distribution model that takes into factors of who you are, how you produce, how you play, and what your brand is. Excuse me, sir. The players have been asking for this for a long time, and you've been steadily saying, no, everybody just gets the same scholarship. No different distributions on that.
Yeah.
But when it comes to you,
he's essentially what he's saying is we're Florida State, give us more money than everybody else because we're Florida State.
I mean, there is an argument for that. I get it.
Sure.
But also, you're in this conference and you join this conference that's part of the deal of being here.
Yeah.
And so you want to go join another conference where you're going to get more money. I get it and understand that. Again, this all comes back to money. But my conversation is, so you do understand that there's an idea of maybe some people should get more, some people should get less. You do understand that concept when it comes to this.
Right.
But when it comes to your athletes, nah, we need transparency. We need to know everybody should get the same thing. Everybody gets the same.
Those who live in glass houses shouldn't throw stones.
1,000%. 1,000%. We'll see what Florida State happens. Do know this. There's nothing that can't be solved with more money.
No.
And more lawyers. So there is a chance that this will happen.
And, you look at that $120 million exit fee, and it basically comes down to, okay, if we do this as Florida State, we're able to weasel ourselves out of this grant of rights. How long would it take us to recoup $120 million to just break even on this and then start generating more revenue after the fact? Let's just say they make it to the Big Ten, where you're talking about $15 to $20 million per year more. You're still talking about 5-6 years just on that revenue alone to break even on this.
And who knows where we'll be in the college landscape in 5 or 6 years. So they just got to one of those situations. I guess it's like the classic real estate deal where, you want to, what is it? You want to have the cheapest house in the nicest neighborhood.
Sure.
They're just stuck in the neighborhood, and I guess they feel like the neighborhood's falling apart around them, and they still got this big old house. And like, man, we trying to get some more value for what we have.
Now
we're trying to see.
As Pete Thamel mentioned, the deadline to announce they're leaving is coming up very soon. Let's say, and I don't think that anybody's going to throw them a line, let's say they're not able to find a new conference home and they have to stay in the ACC. Think they're going to get any benefit of the doubt with some calls on the field this year?
I just like to see when he walks into that next meeting. He's like, "Hey, Boston College, I know you heard. It's not what you think it is. It's not what you think."
Everybody just kind of standing there with their arms crossed, like, so.
Yeah.
Come on, guys. I didn't really mean that.
Oh, it's just gonna be now we're just gonna have cliques. It's gonna be Florida State, Clemson, Miami sitting at the cool kids table.
Yeah.
Everybody else is over here. Look at those. It's just gonna be Mean Girls all over again. That's all it is.
Yeah. He's essentially saying, all y'all are the ones, y'all can't sit with us.
Don't come to this table. This is the cool kids.
Don't
table.
wear pink on Wednesdays. None of that stuff. Yes, I've seen Mean Girls.
I have to.
But it's just so funny because all this stuff is going on out west, and that's the headlines in the ACC just like shouting into the abyss, we want a new conference too. And everybody just kind of turns around like, okay.
Yeah, while y'all are at it, hey, we think we want more money too. Why?
Well,
why not?
Everybody does. Everybody does.
Right.
Get in line.
Right.
It's like, who are you talking to?
Again, And I won't even say that I don't think Florida State does not have an argument. There isn't. They are one of the top producing or revenue producing teams in that conference, but somebody's always going to be at the top. And so that's always going to be something that part of the value that you bring. They were one of the teams that is bringing that value. That just happens to be you. When you go to one of these other conferences, you no longer will be at the top, and you will be benefiting from being in a better conference. So that's just how it goes sometimes.
And if there weren't so many hoops to jump through and other conferences had the opportunity to pick up Florida State, there would be interest.
Right.
Big Ten may give them a look. SEC may give them a look. Like, I could see other conferences having those conversations. But again, when you look through all these hoops they got to jump through, it's like, we're not really interested in messing with that. We're good.
Yeah, we'll see. August 15th, put it on the calendar.
It's coming soon.
We'll be revisiting the conversation. We'll see.
All right. And again, all these stories of realignment are going to continue to evolve, and I'll be glued to my laptop screen as each one of them happens because it's just fascinating to me.
This feels like it should be a board game.
It really does. Realignment.
Maybe realignment.
Oh.
Board game, maybe a card game or something like that. There has to be.
You know what? We'll develop that.
We need to
work on that.
We need to put in the development.
I'll get Hasbro on the phone.
I knew Tyler was connected. I knew he knew people.
Are you an AD who's looking to move to another conference?
There you
then
go.
you have all these scenarios happen to the NIL, revenue sharing.
What's the military game where you like try and take over the world?
Risk?
Not Risk. Is it Risk?
Maybe.
I thought Risk was the one where you like he killed them in the
No, that's Clue.
den. That's Clue.
That's
Okay,
Clue.
maybe it is Risk.
Mhm.
If I got the wrong name, correct me on the Firehouse Subs text line. But whatever the military game where the goal is like world domination, you have the maps and stuff like that. Like conference domination, should be the name of the game.
Mm-hmm.
That's very interesting. And is there like with Monopoly? Is there you go to jail? So what is the jail for a conference realignment?
Regulated to FCS.
That was, see, there you go.
Yep.
I think you could have a lot of fun with this.
We need to get some plans drawn.
Put
up
some
here.
brain power behind this.
That's right. All right, we'll come back and talk to Kerry Tharp, talk a little bit of NASCAR to wrap up today's edition of the early game here on 107.5 The Game.
Have you missed any of the early game?
You can catch up by going to the early game on demand page at 1075thegame.com.
Or by downloading our 107.5 The Game app on iTunes or Google Play.
Sponsored by AutoZone. Get in the zone. Starting stronger starts at AutoZone, where they've got battery solutions in the form of free battery testing, free battery charging, and replacement batteries that fit your needs. That's what makes them America's #1 battery destination. Get in the zone. AutoZone.
Did you know your home's air ducts are the lungs of your home? Thankfully, you can breathe easier indoors by calling Zerorez Carpet and Air Duct Cleaning. Having pets and being prone to allergies are just a few reasons to give the cleaning pros a call. Right now, take advantage of this amazing deal. $50 off your next air duct cleaning. Use promo code AIR50 when scheduling online at ZerorezColumbia.com. Zerorez is the right way to clean.
Prescriptions require an online consultation with a healthcare provider who will determine if appropriate. Restrictions apply. See website for details and important safety information. Subscription required. Price varies based on product and subscription plan.
Hey guys, did you know there's a generic form of Viagra that works just the same, but is 95% cheaper? Just go to 4hims.com/joy. Through Hims, you'll get a free medical consultation, discreet shipping if prescribed, and the process is 100% online. To start your free online visit, go to 4hims.com/joy. That's FORHIMS.com/JOY.
This is Larry Leitner, owner and founder of Midstate Roofing. And for nearly 30 years, we've continued to be the proven leader in the roofing and waterproofing industry. Midstate Roofing's proven history is your assurance that our professionals at Midstate Roofing will provide the proper advice, service, and results to the needs of your facility in a manner both safe and pleasing to your operation. From high-rise to hospitals, manufacturing to industrial, Midstate Roofing designs and installs bonded systems with a protective guarantee that will keep your operation dry and running long into the future. 24 hours a day, 7 days a week.
And this is Blake Leitner, reminding you to protect that roof with a maintenance contract. Call me today at 803-356-1919 or online at midstateroofing.com. That's midstateroofing.com.
You'll speak to an on-call technician after hours or a Midstate Roofing staff member during hours at 803-356-1919 or online at midstateroofing.com. And as always, Tell them, Midstate Twins.
If you have a leak, let Midstate Roofing take a peek.
Get ready to paint Charlotte garnet and black on September 2nd when the Gamecocks kick off the season versus UNC at Bank of America Stadium. Visit GamecocksOnline.com to secure your tickets today.
My friend and I are taking a trip to Mexico this year, but neither of us speak Spanish. So we downloaded Babbel and started learning Spanish fast.
Want to start getting conversational in another language in as little as 3 weeks? Babbel's quick 10-minute lessons were designed by language experts to be the most efficient and effective way to learn a new language.
¿Cómo te llamas? ¿Cómo te llamas?
¿De dónde eres?
¿De dónde eres?
Babbel's interactive lessons are created by real language teachers and voiced by real native speakers using a modern conversation-based method. So in no time, you can start speaking confidently about real-life topics in another language.
Nosotras vamos a México en 2 días y ahora hablamos español.
Gracias, Babbel.
Sí, muchas gracias.
Babbel, language for life. Celebrating 10 million subscriptions sold. Now try Babbel for free at Babbel.com. Just go to Babbel.com and start learning a new language today. That's Babbel.com. Babbel.com.
Call Lawyer Lisa. Experience the difference with Lawyer Lisa.
Hi, this is Lisa Hostetler Brown. If you or a loved one are over 65 and haven't completed a long-term care planning consultation, now is the time. Did you know that if you aren't able to afford the high cost of skilled care, your assets can be rapidly depleted to only $2,000 unless you plan 5 years in advance? Visit lawyerlisa.com to see how we can help.
7511 St. Andrews Road, Irmo, South Carolina.
1075 The Game traffic. Sponsored by the South Carolina Department of Corrections.
South Carolina Department of Corrections is hiring statewide with huge pay raises. Correctional officers can now make $50,000 plus in their first year. Officers must be at least 18 years of age. Visit joinscdc.com to apply.
WIS-TV First Alert Traffic on 1075 The Game.
All right, one last look at your traffic conditions out there. Clemson Road at Farrow Road, still working that earlier incident. Others that we mentioned earlier have been cleared, so that's good news. Some morning showers possibly, and then again some in the afternoon. 83 for the high. Some early storms tomorrow. Looking for a high of 86. Right now, it's overcast, 74 at 107.5 The Game.
Broadcasting live from the Herndon Chevrolet Studios. This is 107.5 The Game.
Discover Herndon Certified. Herndon Chevrolet's premier used car warranty. Shop with complete confidence knowing Herndon Chevrolet has got you covered.
Stop by or shop online today and see why Herndon Chevrolet makes you smile.
The early game
With Bill Gunter, former Gamecock Preston Thorne, and Jen Jensen.
on your home of the Gamecocks.
107.5 The Game.
Presented by Credit One Bank. Chris Buescher, after a dominant performance, 86 laps out in front, down the backstretch for the final time. The 30-year-old from Prosper, Texas, which, by the way, has a population of 30,000, is going to win in front of more here than Richmond. Buescher wins at the short track.
And welcome back into the early game on 107.5 The Game. Tyler Head in for Bill Gunter this morning alongside Preston Thorne, Jen Jensen on the other side of the glass. Rick Allen on the call for NBC Sports on Sunday as Chris Buescher took home the victory in the Cookout 400 up at Richmond Raceway. We now welcome in our friend Carrie Tharp to talk a little bit of racing. And Carrie, you know, if you go back 2 seasons ago and somebody would have told you, wow, Chris Buescher won the race this weekend, you probably would have been a little bit surprised. But when you look at how good RFK Racing has been, not just this season, but even last season, once Brad Keselowski took over as the team owner, it's not a surprise seeing one of these cars in victory lane.
Well, you're exactly right, Tyler, and it's good to be on with you here today. You know, when Brad came over to RFK last year, there was a turnabout in the culture and how things were going there. And to be honest with you, and everybody knows this, Roush Fenway Racing had slipped over the last 6 or 7 years and hadn't visited victory lane. And, you know, their cars weren't fast, and it just was. You know, a complete turnaround when Brad came over. And Chris Buescher is a good race car driver. and I think he's in the best equipment that he's ever been in his career. And I think we saw that last weekend at Richmond. Both he and Brad led a lot of laps, and he got to victory lane, got his way into the playoffs. Brad got a solid top 6 performance, and I just think that that there's a little bit of a turnaround going on over there at RFK, and I think it's good to see.
And Brad's been knocking on the door himself multiple times this season, hasn't gotten himself into victory lane just yet, but that's coming sooner rather than later.
He's definitely more competitive than he was last year.
You want to talk about a big celebration when he finally gets the 6th car in victory lane, with his name as the owner. That's gonna be a big deal.
Oh, without a doubt. I mean, I know Brad pretty well, and he's a competitor, and it's been a dry spell for him since he last won. And but he's a former Cup champion, and so this guy knows how to get to victory lane. It just hasn't happened here recently, but you're right. I can tell you that when it does happen, there'll be a pretty big celebration in victory lane, and then following that, when they get back to North Carolina and over at the race shop. But it's good to see a team like that was really good 15, 20 years ago, really come back, kind of risen up and resurrected itself. And, I think that's good to see. I think it's good for the sport. And that's a team I think that keep an eye on the remainder of this season.
I think the juices are flowing for sure. Excuse me. And so, Kerry, tell us what's going on. The countdown is on as far as Darlington is concerned. So, what all is happening in preparations for the race?
Yeah, we're all systems go here, Jen. We're about 31 days away, and our folks, every single day is important. We're working extremely hard. We want to sell the race out. That's our biggest goal. And we've got some work to do, but we're trending in a positive direction. I really encourage fans to take a look and come out and support this race on Sunday, September the 3rd. It's the opening race of the Cup Series playoffs. It's going to be exciting. It's always exciting here at Darlington. It's one of the crown jewel events. Our guys out in the field are working very hard, getting the property ready with all the rain we've had and the heat, humidity. Certainly that grass continues to grow very quickly. And so a lot of painting going on, just a lot of repairs, touching up things that needed touching up since our May event. And we'll be ready. But I'm thankful we got some time here ahead of us.
Well, that's good. Of course, it could have gotten slowed down a little bit because I saw you have picked up a new sponsor. So maybe there's been a little too much, a little Crown Royal action.
No, we'll let Bill take care of that.
There you go.
Crown Royal is going to be the presenting sponsor of our weekend. We still have Cookout as our sponsor for our race and Sport Clips for our Saturday race. The Crown Royal it's an iconic brand, and they want to grow their presence here in the state of South Carolina, and we're excited to partner with them. And they're going to have a good many of their people and employees here on property. There's going to be a lot of signage. I think they're going to have some of their drinks out in the midway, and then also in the concession stands. And I think our fans will enjoy that. And so you look at an iconic brand in that particular marketplace, and that's certainly Crown Royal, and then certainly Darlington is an iconic brand when it comes to NASCAR. So
yeah, I just thought it was a great partnership. Yep.
Yeah, it's a pretty good partnership, and yeah, we'll have to make sure Bill gets his share. Okay.
No, I absolutely.
Yeah, definitely gonna have to check out the Crown Royal display in the Midway on Labor Day weekend. That's for sure. But with that, and this is actually the first time I've gotten to speak to you since the May races, and that was my first trip to Darlington. And I don't just say this because you're on the air with us now, but that was legitimately one of the best at-track experiences I've ever had. Great facility. Everybody there was super duper nice. Obviously had a great weekend full of racing, and legitimately, if you've never been to Darlington, I advocate anybody to go out there. One of the best experiences I personally had as a race fan.
100%.
Well, yeah, we thought our May weekend, our throwback weekend, was exceptional. Had all those top 75 greatest drivers back, and everybody had a good time. And it was really a true reunion for the sport. And I thought one of the highlights of our seasons thus far.
Well, now, Jen, we move on to Michigan, one of the fastest tracks on the circuit, and time to make some picks.
Absolutely. Well, the standings, it was a little disappointing last week when Bill had picked Denny Hamlin and Denny came in second. I had said that if Denny had won that race, I probably would have quit because just the thought of even dealing with Bill at this point is just mind numbing. So fortunately, Hamlin didn't win, but he came in second. So our current point standings, Bill is at 85, which is just wrong. Preston is in second with 79. Carrie's not too far out with 74. Reggie 67, and I just keep creating bad luck for every driver I pick. I'm in last with 62. So being last means I get to pick first, and I hope I'm not jinxing Kevin Harvick, but he's been very good at Michigan, and I just feel like he's got to get a win. It's his last year, so I just am really feeling like Harvick can do this. So 4 in victory lane.
Oh boy, good pick.
Let's hope. And so Reggie was efficient, and he went ahead and sent me his pick. So his first choice is Denny Hamlin. So we'll go ahead and put Denny in for Reggie, and then that brings us to Carrie. So who do you have for this week?
Oh goodness, I'm going to go out on a limb and maybe a little bit of a limb and go with the guy who his race team's pretty hot right now. I'm going to go with Brad Keselowski to win on Sunday at Michigan.
Be a home win for him.
That's a solid choice.
It would.
Yeah, that would be great for him.
All right, so I've been drafting. I've been trying to figure out where I'm going to do. It's time to make a move. Going bold. We're going with Bubba Wallace.
Oh, he did well last year.
Sat on the pole last
year.
year.
That's a pretty good pick, Preston.
Thanks,
Preston's
sir.
Been studying. Preston's kind of laying out there. You know, he's sly like a fox. That was a pretty good pick. Pretty good pick, Preston.
Do I get to make Bill's pick then?
He didn't make it, so you can do that. So I'm thinking you should pick Danica.
Yeah,
for him.
I'll pick JJ Yaley. How about that?
There you go. Perfect.
There you go.
All right, that all we got time for today, Carrie. Thank you as always for giving us a little bit of your time, and be excited to talk to you next week as well.
Sounds good. I appreciate you all. Have a great weekend.
You too. Thanks, Gary.
All right. Thanks so much for listening to the early game. Be back in tomorrow once again for Bill hanging out here as we'll be talking camp finally starting tomorrow morning.
That's exciting. It's a good time of year.
Absolutely. Thanks so much for listening. This has been the early game on 107.5 The Game.
WNKT FM, Eastover, Columbia.
This is Gamecock Athletics Director Ray Tanner, and you're listening to 107.5 The Game,
a Cumulus media station.
After being almost $500,000 in tax debt, I was listening to the radio one day and heard a ad for John Ecton Law Firm. So I gave him a call and met with him, and he gave me the confidence to trust him after the reason behind my tax problems anyways was trusting someone I probably should have never trusted. He did everything he said he was going to do, and then some. His staff at the office were great, very knowledgeable. With John's help, I have no tax debt now, and I was able to have a family that otherwise I would have never been able to have.
It's great to know we have changed people's lives for the better. Hi, this is local attorney John Ecton with the Ecton Law Firm. For over a decade, our office has been dedicated to helping